Gaming news today is all about setting expectations. First, the GTA 6 PC release has been assumed up to this point, but there is recent info that I think points to a larger emphasis and maybe even a quicker turnaround time for the game coming to PC. We'll look at those comments in just a moment. Second, the PlayStation State of Play has been leaked and rumored, and they just announced it like right before I went live. It will be tomorrow, and we will co-stream it. I'll talk about some of the rumors about what will potentially be there. And third, speaking of PlayStation, Monster Hunter Wilds has pushed out a handful of tweets about performance on the PS5 Pro enhancements coming to the game, and it honestly looks very good. Fourth, in the vein of expectations for PlayStation, Insomniac recently revealed that a franchise will not get a greenlit sequel that they pitched, and I wasn't very surprised. Lastly, there was a game coming this year that has had its release date leaked that may point to its involvement in the State of Play tomorrow. And as always, I have a game for your wish list and your radar. Now, if you watch these shows on a regular basis and you enjoy my content, always make sure that you hit that like button and double check, make sure that your bell, your little notification bell, is set to all. I was gone for a week and sometimes that messes with that. And consider supporting the channel directly. I know you hear YouTubers say this a lot and you're like, well, why would I spend money? When you support the channel directly, opens up a lot of opportunities for us, and then there's all this extra content for you behind the scenes. Just this morning was morning coffee and you missed out. Consider clicking join and then make sure you pick Member Plus, because that gets you into all of the content. So let's just jump right into it. GTA 6 on PC has been a bit of a question mark. Like, is it going to happen? Well, yes, but, you know, what's it going to look like with respect to timing? And GTA 6 just kind of continues to dominate the headlines as gamers and game companies alike are waiting for the GTA 6 trailer 2, as well as the release date to be revealed. We just covered it yesterday that during the most recent Take-Two earnings call, all they spoke to was that it's still headed in the fall. But GTA fans on PC will probably find this new development to be encouraging. Pulling from GameRant.com, Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick stated that Grand Theft Auto 6 skipping a PC launch is business as usual for Rockstar. However, the boss of Rockstar's parent company acknowledged PC as a growing gaming platform and suggested that GTA 6 will eventually land on it. Now, the important part here is not that, oh, it's eventually going to come to PC. I think that's a very safe assumption. It's that Take-Two has acknowledged the growth of the PC platform. Now, why does that matter? Well, it matters because if you're on PC, you might not have to wait as long this time around for it to come to PC. More from the article says the following. Zelnick's comments to IGN also saw him acknowledge PC as a growing gaming platform, noting that Take-Two's data indicates it can contribute to approximately 40% of a multi-platform game sale. Now, sadly, that IGN article in question has an incredibly misleading headline that states that, quote, Take-Two boss, unconcerned by plummeting PS5 and Xbox sales, insists that GTA 6 will cause a meaningful uptick in console sales in 2025. Now, there is not a single report anywhere to back the claim that PS5 sales are plummeting. To quite the contrary, it's pacing above the PS4 in the US market, which is one of their larger markets. Xbox, however, has been in an undeniable and seemingly accelerated drop in sales every month, year over year. IGN, in my opinion, has become such an embarrassment as an outfit. I'm surprised they get interviews with anybody who wants to land in a respectable and accurately written piece of work. This is not the first time that they have just flat out lied or misrepresented the PlayStation 5 this generation. They intentionally misquoted an earnings call and said that the PS5 was entering its latter stages, when the actual quote was it was entering its latter half, meaning we're halfway through the gen. This obviously caused a lot of people to say, well, what, the PlayStation 5's already entering latter stages? Why would they be doing that? It's only been out for 4 years. Well, they didn't say that. IGN is a dishonest outfit. They once again are lying and misleading the public, making it seem as though the abysmal sales of the Xbox consoles year over year is a shared problem for PlayStation. But Zelnick seems to think that PC will become a more important part of what they are doing. He said the following: "We have seen PC become a much more important part of what used to be a console business, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that trend continue. Of course, there will be a new console generation." Now, that last bit is especially important given the history of GTA and selling different versions of the game for new consoles, right? I could easily see them doing that. They're going to have updated enhanced versions of GTA for the PS6 and get that little double dip going one more time. But he also sees PC playing a bigger role. He says, I think the trend that you'd want to focus on is the increasing share of the market that is reflected in PC. So, it took 19 months for PC to wait for GTA last time. I think you're going to get a tighter window this time. If you're like, hey, I can't wait to play GTA 6 on my PC, I don't think you're going to wait as long. Strauss Zelnick seems to be indicating the PC is going to play a bigger role, and they see a wider market there for them than they have in the past. Now, revenue-wise, their total sales are not as strong, but the revenue they generate with online is probably pretty significant. Now, in light of the state of play expectations, I'm just going to kind of put this blog up on the screen for you. They just announced this before I went live. I do have some rumors to read to you, but you can see here, State of Play is back tomorrow, February the 12th. Tune in live for news and updates on great games coming to PS5. The show celebrates a creative and unique selection of exciting games from studios around the world. This sentence here indicates to me the same thing that the blog post I have shown you guys numerous times. They are not focusing on first party. They are not. Ghost of Yote will likely be there, but I do not think the emphasis is on first party. I think Death Stranding 2 will potentially be there, and I'll touch on Monster Hunter Wilds in a moment. It's probably there as well. It'll show off some of the PS5 Pro enhancements. It's a 40-minute show, and it starts at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern on February the 13th. Well, that's for other time zones, but for February 12th for the rest of us, and it'll be on YouTube, Twitch, and English and Japanese. So we are going to check that out. Now, here's the thing. They have a lot of rumors floating around, and one of them came from Ecstasis, and he said the following. A known Chinese leaker, A9VG, hinted that the PlayStation State of Play is scheduled for February the 13th. Okay, well, they got that wrong, but they got the week right. This is the week that it's coming. It is hitting on the 13th for a particular market, so maybe that's why they heard the 13th, because it's the 13th in that time zone, so it might have been the 13th in their time zone. This is what they said, though. They said the term hypnotic soprano from A9VG's message has led to speculation about announcements for God of War or Parasite Eve at the event. We're seeing a growing sort of rumor mill and some smoke around the fact that there could be a God of War collector's edition at the event for like God of War 1 through 3 or whatever. We'll see if that pans out. People were really excited that like the possibility of Parasite Eve being there. We will be co-streaming the events tomorrow. We'll probably go live a little bit beforehand and then hang out and watch it. Should be a good day, and hopefully the State of Play gets everybody excited about the year and also sets the stage for, listen, you're getting one first party this year and then a second party from Death Stranding 2. There's the potential for surprises, but I'm not holding my breath. It's going to be largely a first, second, and third party year for PlayStation, much like previous years. Now, Monster Hunter, for fans of Monster Hunter, you're probably going to want to check out the enhancements for the PS5 Pro, okay? The official Monhun Twitter account started pushing out videos of the PS5 Pro enhancements. Here's what they had to say. Monster Hunter Wilds will be PS5 Pro enhanced at launch and can take advantage of the system's ray tracing and PSSR features depending on which of the 3 modes you select. Choose between prioritizing resolution, frame rate, and a new balance mode that'll focus on balancing graphical detail at 40 FPS. Now, their detail page on this indicated that the upscaling for the base PS5 will be FSR1, which was notoriously not very good in Final Fantasy 16, but the Pro version of Monhun will use PSSR for upscaling. Now, the performance mode will disable ray tracing. It'll target 60 FPS. It's going to output a 4K image upscaled from an internal 1080. The balance mode will turn ray tracing back on, and it will upscale from 1440 and target 40 FPS. Prioritizing resolution will upscale from a 1728 image with ray tracing turned on, and it will target 30 FPS. Now, I have a feeling the PS5 Pro versus the base PS5 is going to be significant, given that the PSSR upscaling is better than FSR1 by a significant margin. I don't know why they would be using FSR1. That will probably be hotly criticized when those breakdowns come out. Digital Foundry was not very pleased with the fact that Final Fantasy 16 was using FSR1. We've been hoping to see that updated, and it has not been. So I think when you see side-by-side comparisons of like your performance mode on base PS5 and the PS5 Pro, I think it's going to be notably different and better, which again will potentially make people feel like they're getting the short end of the stick for not upgrading, which you don't want that, but it's not a first-party title, so PlayStation can't exactly force Capcom to do something different with their upscaling tech for the base version. Now, very quickly, 2 more things here, and then I'm going to be talking to you guys. I just wanted to do this one as a bit of an I told you so. Games like Resistance and Killzone are commonly brought up as ripe franchises for new games. I've continued to say that the market is likely not in demand for these anymore, and pulling from Insider Gaming's article that was titled, Resistance 4 was pitched by Insomniac, but PlayStation turned it down. And this is what Ted Price, the president of Insomniac, said. He said, "We did pitch that one, and it was a wonderful concept, and it just, in terms of timing and market opportunity, didn't work out." Now, the key terms here are timing and market opportunity. He went on to say that the team was very passionate about it. They had some really cool places to go with the story, but much like the passion from the fans, it was not enough to warrant a new game due to market demand and timing. Now, this doesn't mean things like this can't change in the future, but given what PlayStation knows about their own user base and their behavior with first-person shooters like Call of Duty, this choice will likely stick. So if you're hoping for some of these games to come back, it's probably not going to happen. And then, speaking of PlayStation, this is one of the games included on their blog. Now, this is a multi-plat title, but Hell Is Us had its release date leaked. PlayStation Game Size on Twitter is known for getting viable information here, and the report is showing that this game will be releasing on September the 4th. The $80 deluxe edition will give you early access on September the 1st. Now, early September is likely the latest release date that we are going to see announced, but from anybody, because of GTA 6. So this game is apparently one game that we're going to get a release date for, and this could be included in the State of Play tomorrow, given that it is on the PlayStation blog about games coming this year, and maybe we get the release date tomorrow. Maybe that's why it got leaked. All right, last but certainly not least, I love putting games on your wish list and your radar. Now, this is one that I would probably not play, but you definitely need to check out Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector. If you are into this type of dice-driven RPG, it's in a human and heartfelt sci-fi world. You're an escaped android, you have a malfunctioning body, and there's a price on your head. Okay, you got to get a ship, you got to find a crew, and you got to take on contracts to navigate across the Star Wars belt. The game currently has a 93% on Steam, a 97% on PlayStation, and an 82% on Xbox. Now, the Xbox score is lower. This always happens with games on Game Pass, not because Game Pass, hurts the game, but a bunch of people get to try out the game who probably would not have tried it out, and then they end up pulling the score down. So I would ignore the score on Xbox. This game is clearly doing well and getting good reviews. It just released on January the 31st for Steam, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and the Xbox Series consoles. If you liked the first one, I would definitely check out that game. It's doing very well and getting great reception, and it's not been out for very long. So just a quick recap, GTA 6 is potentially coming to PC earlier than previous games. Second, expectations about the PlayStation State of Play are mounting as it has been confirmed to be tomorrow, and we will co-stream it. Speaking of PlayStation, Monster Hunter Wilds has pushed out a handful of tweets about their enhancements for the Pro, and it looks like the base version of the PS5 is not going to have the greatest of time with that if you want 60 FPS. And then Insomniac got shot down for a Resistance 4, and Hell Is Us is allegedly coming on September the 1st, according to a leak. So that's the news, and now it's time for the discussion. I know I'm supposed to shave down those openers, but when stuff breaks like that and you got to kind of ham-fist it in, it's going to extend the show. So now it's time to talk to you guys. Make sure you are smashing the like button. Let's get those first 200 likes. You guys always get the first 100 likes like it's nothing. So let's get the first 200 likes because we've already got a good amount. And I've got some people to thank, right? Wired Rope upgraded to Member Plus, and we celebrated that during the member stream. But Han shot first, and so did you. Joker Quinn gifts the first member of the day and gets us to 124. But then we're going to jump up to 129 because a 5-bomb comes in from Lovable Sylvian. Thank you so much, Sil. You are the best. And thank you guys who continue to upgrade your memberships. We continue to get closer and closer to the goal of having 600 people at Member Plus and above. So thank you to everybody who has done that. Resistance needed a break. I mean, in general, I would say that they looked at the market and they said, like what he said, he's like, the market and the timing wasn't there for it. I don't see that as being, a surprise. That doesn't surprise me. It's like, yeah, I don't think the market's in demand for games like that. I really don't. You know, a $5 super chat tip from Charles Hawk. I just finished Citizen Sleeper 2. Finished the first one months back. Good games. There you go. Great reason. Check that out. Another endorsement from somebody in chat. I even put games on your wish list and your radar that I typically won't play. What's good, Brian King? Good to see you. And yes, I have seen the Icon Era thread. I got mentioned in there about this Discord that has been discovered or exposed, where there was a group of people essentially coordinating anti-PlayStation talking points and trying to spread FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about PlayStation. And I got mentioned in there. Yes, William, the State of Plays tomorrow, I included that in the show open. I just walked through it, and I read the blog right here during the show open. Appreciate you putting it on my radar, though. Yeah, it's not surprising. I saw somebody say, I think it was High on Life was in the feed. And DK Bager rounds us out to 130. He's trying to bait. He wants somebody to drop the 20 bomb to 150. We'll see if anybody takes the bait, DK Bager. Yes, the infamous Discord. The leak is from a long time ago, but was suppressed. Talents comes in and renews the membership. Guys, make sure if you're paying for your own membership, you want to be on Member Plus. It's $6 instead of $5, and it gets you into more content, and it supports the channel directly. And there's another 5 bomb that comes in from Lovable Sylvian. Thank you so much. That bumps the line to 135. And then 140. She's just going to walk it all the way herself with 5 bombs. Thank you so much. Lovable Sylvian doing her own little member train. Yeah, High on Life was in the thread and said, you know, he thought it might come up today on my show. And Joker Quinn's going to add to the member train. And another 5 bomb comes in and puts us at 146. Lovable Sylvian says, we don't need member trains. I'll make my own member trains. I appreciate it so much, Lovable. You are the best. It's not surprising. I'll just say that, okay? I've said for a long time, it's obvious that there is an organized effort to push, you know, Xbox marketing talking points. There is an organized effort to attack people like myself. It was obvious. I mean, the level of coordination. You paid $6.99. Oh, you probably did it on your mobile phone like an iPhone. You want to do it on a browser. You're paying that Apple tax. So yeah, you paid for the $5, but extra money went to Apple. Dynamite Black with 19 months and a Member Plus and bumps the line to 147. Thank you so much. I'll owe you guys a 10 bomb when this hits 150. It isn't surprising. I mean, I remember the coordinated attack on me where they all used the exact same image from an article from 2020 about false claims that were made about me, and they all circulated the same image. It's like and they all did it the same day. They all did it at the same time. They would all use the same verbiage. They would all use the same phrases. And it's like, it doesn't surprise me at all that there was some Discord where they all coordinated what they were going to say about Xbox, and they all coordinated what they were going to say about PlayStation. I'm not surprised at all. I think it's pathetic. I do wonder if some of the people that were in there, did they stay? Did they know that's what was going on? The comments I saw from like Alex from Digital Foundry, he didn't really say anything problematic. He was just like, I don't want to bash PlayStation 5. He's like, I just don't want people out here spinning. And I didn't see any other involvement from him. Now, I have it on good authority from a reliable source on the matter that there were far more nefarious things that will come out. Yeah, there were pretty nasty comments made about Yoshida. And a 20 bomb from P-Dub H-Town. He says, we only need 3 to get to 150, but I'm going to take us to 167. And a Member Plus renewal from Louis Love gets us to 168. So the efforts were coordinated, but not smart. I mean, yeah, you could say that. I mean, this stuff always comes out. They say anything nasty about you. I didn't see anything Treble, but it wouldn't surprise me. They were naming specific people that they wanted to basically like fight against on Twitter. It wouldn't shock me at all if during that time where I got pretty significantly attacked for my takes on the ABK deal, it wouldn't surprise me at all if I was the center of attention in there for a while. Because again, there was a coordinated and very organized attack against me on Twitter during that time. You shouldn't have been part of the convo during that time. If it's around release time, I'm not sure what you mean. Around release time of what? Oh, yeah, around release time, I wouldn't have been included. That's right. We would need more recent screenshots. This was around the release time of the consoles. FCAT says, I wonder if I'm on that list. It's hard to know. Bill says, I've noticed that Google and YouTube have made it easier to do member upgrades on Android devices. I can now do it in the app instead of having to go through the browser. Well, guys, if you're on Android, test that out. See if you can bump up to Member Plus. Like Mac Attack just renewed, and that bumps the member line to 169. Thank you so much. Donnie says, nobody was shocked that Alex from Digital Foundry was around that Discord. Makes much sense. I mean, I like Alex on Digital Foundry, even though I've not agreed with a lot of his takes. I still like him. I think it's helpful when you have somebody who is obviously not in PlayStation's corner, because when they do a breakdown of a game and they talk about how great it's running and how great the PS5 Pro is, I mean, think about it. Like, that adds more weight to their claims. It's like, you got a guy on the podcast every week that clearly, Alex from Digital Foundry was like, we don't need a Pro. And he was quoted. I mean, he's not quoted. He said it. He was like, why do we need a Pro? We haven't even squeezed everything out of the PS5. And so when he and others on that podcast are breaking down PS5 Pro enhancements and giving praise, I think it has more weight. It's like, you can't accuse him of being a PlayStation fanboy. Lorcan, a drain with 11 months and a member plus is nearly a year and rounds us out really nicely to 170 members. Thank you so much. Which one's Alex? There's the Brit, the Beaver, and the normal looking dude. Alex is the one with like I would say like slightly longer hair. It usually is like parted into the side. You know, I've always joked that he's like the eye candy of the show. I like him. I've never had any issue with the fact that, like, he has his bias, he has his view, and I think that that's fine. You know? I think that's fine. You're going to have people with bias. You're going to have people with their own opinions. I think it adds more weight to a breakdown. You know, if he's going to break down something on the PS5 or the PS5 Pro, you know you're not getting a bunch of fanboy drivel. You're getting a genuine breakdown. I think it adds credence and weight to when he or those other guys break something down, that they have a diverse opinion. Like, if they were all just pro PlayStation, it would take away from when they do like a breakdown of a game on the Pro or something. He's one all over Twitter wearing a skirt. Yeah, I don't know what that picture was from. I was like, okay. Well, there you go. Oh, we don't see Doc Dark in that form. I'd be crushed. No, I don't think you'd see Doc in there. I don't think so. Listen. Darren Ugalde with 8 months, and he bumps the member count to 171. Somebody said something about my clip, and I wanted to scroll up and see. Big Steve says, your clip was circulating last week about how they all get in line with what Microsoft does. I'm sure your name was dropped during that. Oh, yeah, I mean, because that clip got a ton of traction. It's got like 160,000 views because I'm saying something that they either don't appreciate or don't agree with, but there was a lot of people that agreed with me. I saw a ton of people saying, they're like, listen, I don't like Reforge. I don't agree with him, but he's spot on here. They're all just immediately agreeing with what Xbox is doing, and they're just becoming mouthpieces for Xbox. I just think there's a real lack of authenticity out there, and I think more and more people are seeing it. How likely do we see God of War? At the PlayStation State of Play, pretty good. Now, I know there were people that were thinking that like GTA 6 is going to be there or do something with the State of Play or do something with PlayStation. I continue to think that that is not the case. There were rumors that PlayStation secured the GTA 6 marketing rights or like a marketing deal or something. I don't think so. I don't think that Rockstar needs that. I think Rockstar will do their own. Xboxers for Reforge make some merch. You don't think it's a little early? A little early for what, Ultra Lord? The State of Play or God of War? Joker Quinn with a $5 super chat. It's amazing the links that people will go that go to over video games. It's concerning behavior. I found Guillermo Gonzalez. Is that an upgrade or a renewal? Upgrades to Member Plus count as 2. Thank you so much. I said that it wasn't surprising that it existed. I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe that they are doing this. To me, what was embarrassing about it... Oh, no, that's a re-up. Thank you so much. What was embarrassing about it to me is that it wasn't like, hey, we're fans of Xbox. How can we get good info out there? How can we get good info? How can we get access to, to specs or anything like that? It was basically a concerted effort to make Xbox look better than PlayStation. It reminded me of that DM we saw recently where the guy lied to his brother and was like, yeah, nothing from PlayStation first party for the next 4 years. It's like, what? Ghost of Yotei is coming this year, and also there's literally no way that that's possible. There is literally no way that the first party studios from PlayStation go silent for 4 years because they canceled some live service games. It's just absurd that people are so beholden to the brand that they'll just lie. I don't get that. Something about Mag. What did middle-aged gamer guy? I saw a clip of Mag saying Sony got the marketing rights for GTA 6. Mag has a pretty good batting average this year. He does, right? He's always been kind to me. I appreciate him. He's on that side of content, right? But I feel like he's always been very, very charitable to me, and I've always seen clips of him shooting straight. I don't feel like he writes fan fiction. I don't feel like he towed the party line at all. Liking Xbox is fine. Him liking Xbox never seems to shade his opinions or his coverage. Mag actually has sources in the industry. Yeah, this year, the handful of times he's went out and said, "Hey, this is what I heard." He's got a pretty good batting average with his claims this year, I would say. I don't know about previous years. I don't pay that much attention to what every single person is saying. Yo, what's good, Derek? I think the lying becomes a feedback loop, and it gets to where the lies just flow naturally. Yeah, probably, Derek. Yes. Why would Rockstar sell the rights to the trailer when they don't anyone? Oh, I think you meant to say they don't need anyone. My general consensus would be that it's not. I think you're misunderstanding how marketing deals go. They don't sell the rights. They go into a contractual agreement with Sony about when trailers can be pushed and, where they can land. It's like a mutual benefit. It's like a symbiotic relationship. So PlayStation, pushes the reach of GTA 6. They would put it on the front page of the PlayStation, front page of the store. They put the trailer on their channel, right, on their Twitter. I don't think GTA 6 needs any help, though. I don't think so. Now, I covered this in my show open. IGN is out here once again lying to the public. That outfit is incredibly dishonest at this point. There are people over there that I think do good work. There are people at IGN that I think do good reviews and good breakdowns of games. But as an outfit, I don't know why they so consistently and willfully lie about PlayStation. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, I've said this multiple times, you're allowed to have your bias. You're totally allowed to have a bias, and you can prefer one platform over the other, but your bias should never push you to lie to people. They have a headline out there saying that both PlayStation 5 and Xbox sales are plummeting. It's like, that's false. That's not even a matter of perspective or opinion. That is a false claim. It is not true. It's like, is your only relevancy now in getting corrected for lying? Is that how you get the clicks? Is your only currency in the public to say things that are false so that you get corrected? I don't get it. It feels like a sinking ship at this point. Like, how desperate do you have to be to just be like, well, we're just going to lie and we're going to misquote a PlayStation earnings call and we're going to claim that the PS5 sales are plummeting. It's like there isn't a single sales report that would back that up. Not a one. Not a one. I don't know why they do it. It doesn't make any sense. And it's over stuff that's so stupid. The gen is half over, the sales peak happened, and sales are on a natural decline curve for PlayStation, and they call that plummeting. Yeah, that's not the appropriate... Yeah, 20 bomb from MASH gets us all the way to 192. I owe you guys a 10 bomb already. I'm about to owe you I'm about to owe you a 20 bomb. Jiminy Christmas. Thank you, MASH. Hop on the member train, boys, and always remember that when you get gifted a membership, you can pay it forward and gift to somebody else, or you can upgrade for $1 and then get into the green room. End of the day, green room is a great show. You can't get in there unless you're member plus or a VIP. Maloon says the last day to play they started and ended with a PlayStation Studio game, Concord and Astrobot. My guess is we'll see Fair Games and Yote. However, perhaps Fair Games will be replaced by the God of War trilogy. I don't expect 2 games. Say to play announced. That's right. That's right. It was announced. Yeah, I at this point don't know if I don't know about pulling out Fair Games right now, dude. I really don't. They just created a lot of not great feels in the public and in the industry about live service games. I don't know if it's the appropriate time to be like, we're gonna try it again. You know, I don't know. I don't think the timing's right. I think the market's like, to anything live service right now. We're talking about God of War trilogy. There's rumors about a God of War collection, like a remaster or a remake or something of like the original 3. Or like the first 3 or something like that. Eugene says, plummeting is when your sales peak in the second year and are consistently seeing 30% decline quarter after quarter. Right. It's fair to say that Xbox's hardware is plummeting. But see, they're doing the classic thing of, well, Xbox's problems are the industry's problems. So because Xbox's hardware is plummeting, so is PlayStation's. If you guys are just tuning in, the PlayStation State of Play was confirmed tomorrow. It'll be a 40-minute show. It says right here, it's going to celebrate creative and unique selection of exciting games from studios around the world. I think there'll be 1, maybe 2 first parties there. I do not think GTA 6 will be there. However, GTA 6 PC release date does seem to be on a quicker timeline, according to Strauss Zelnick, so PC fans can rejoice at that, I think. Jim D with a member plus. Is that an upgrade or is that a renewal? Intergalactic could show, says Jesse. I don't know if you want to show Intergalactic if it's not on pace for this year, right? Jim D. No, that's a renewal. You've been at that member tier for a while. All right, let me bump the line by 193. Anytime you got... Oh, that's not the right count. 193. There we go. Anytime you guys upgrade to VIP or Member Plus, I count it as 2 in the count. Guys, real quick, smash the like button. Let's get 200 likes. We're at the 30-minute mark of the broadcast. Death Stranding 2 on PC? No, I don't think so. Death Stranding 2 is going to be, I believe, a timed PlayStation exclusive, just like the first one was. I think they're doing the same thing with Kojima. I think they have a good relationship with him because they helped publish and they owned the rights to Death Stranding, and then they sold the rights back to him, and then they allowed, like, 505 published it on PC, like, what was it, like a year later. And then they recently brought it to Xbox because Kojima now has the rights to Death Stranding back. So the fact that he's coming back to PlayStation and giving them an exclusivity deal on Death Stranding 2, I think that points to the fact that they have a good relationship. He probably appreciates what they did for Death Stranding 1. Mash says, I can't blame them for previously going into games as a service, given it's where the largest titles were, but it just got so saturated and gamers can only play so many games at the same time. That's exactly right, Mash. They've really got to reconsider, I think. I think they've got to reconsider the strategy. You know? I think the chances are higher that we get a God of War trilogy announced than Intergalactic. Make a Bloodborne announcement. I think there's some fire around Bloodborne. We just reported on that yesterday. Bloodborne's got all these DMCA takedowns happening. You know? I don't know, dude. It seems to me like they might have something cooking with Bloodborne. Awfully interesting timing that they just DMCA striked a bunch of like Bloodborne fan-made stuff. Digital Foundry here says, today on Digital Foundry, we circle back and take a look at Hogwarts Legacy on the PS5 Pro. Lots of enhancements, plenty of modes, but not quite as good as we were hoping for. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see. Tim Dog says, they were more on specs and more powerful than PS5. Yeah, I basically asked Tim Dog because he was in that Discord. He was in that Discord, and I was like, okay, is this the place that basically, orchestrated the attack on me about the stuff from 2020, and they circulated that image? And he said he got kicked out in 2022. Now, this guy on Twitter says that this is possibly the most important state of play in years. Just the lack of a roadmap for so long and so little first-party games. Plus, it feels like we never get a showcase again. Just feels like it's time for them to have a killer show and get people excited. They don't do roadmaps, and first-party this year is going to be Yote and maybe a surprise. And Holst views Death Stranding 2 as a first-party effort. Temper your expectations for roadmaps and bigger first-party presence. I'm telling you, you guys have got to temper your expectations. You've really got to temper your expectations. Number one, PlayStation doesn't do roadmaps. We're 5 years into the gen, and people keep throwing around roadmaps. When have they ever done a roadmap this gen? When? The only side that's done a roadmap is Xbox, and Xbox is notoriously bad at actually making those roadmaps come to fruition. They've not had a single roadmap land as they said that it would. So what good is a roadmap? What good is a roadmap? You never hit them. That's copium. No, I'm being a realist. I don't expect that from PlayStation anymore. Why? They don't give a frick. They don't give a frick. They don't care. They pushed out a blog, and they're like, here are all the best games. Here are all the biggest games coming in 2025. And Yote's the only first-party piece of property on there. All these doomsayers, it's such blatant BS. They can't wait until next year, you'll see, for the box for 15 years, and suddenly they turn around and cry, PlayStation is dying. It's silly. Yeah, it's little brother syndrome, for real. Xbox roadmap is as reliable as Apple Maps. The first-party talking points and the roadmap talking points is Microsoft talking points. Yeah, he's setting it up to be a disappointment. I'm not calling him out, but that's what it feels like to me. It's like, it feels like you're setting the stage to say, yep, another sucky PlayStation event, because I expected things that we haven't got this entire gen. At this point, Sony is basically Nintendo with a muted color scheme. Buffalo Wing Dave says, most state of plays are 20 to 25 minutes, aren't they? So this one being 40 minutes could have some big first-party games, unless they do some gameplay of Death Stranding 2. I'll tell you why it's probably 40 minutes, Dave. They're probably going to do a deep dive with somebody with gameplay. Because remember when they did that with Spider-Man at the showcase? They got like 20 minutes of gameplay. There's probably going to be a deep dive with somebody. It could be a deep dive with Yote, Death Stranding 2, or Monhun Wilds. One of those three are probably going to take up a big chunk of it. Yeah, it's 40 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 20-minute state of play, and then there's a 20-minute thing at the end for somebody. That would be my thought. So my reply to him is they don't do roadmaps, and first party this year is going to be Yote and maybe a surprise. And Holst views Death Stranding 2 as a first party effort. Temper your expectations for roadmaps and bigger first party presence. PlayStation is playing from the lead position. They're playing from the lead position, you know what I mean? No disrespect, Lona, but Xbox is losing the console battle, but they're winning the gaming IP for now. But what does that mean? I mean, I don't feel disrespected by your opinion. What do you mean they're winning the IP battle? What IP battle are you talking about? Have we ever tracked like Tencent's earnings on their IP? Did we ever do that for ABK with Call of Duty? What do you mean winning? What does that mean at this point? I don't think we ever ABK ABK's out here winning the IP war. Tencent, Embrace whoever, these big conglomerates that own all his property. I don't think we've ever spoken this way. Wolverine demo? What are you talking about, Jack Garland? I don't think so. Derek says, Xbox faltered constantly since the launch of the 360 until the Xbox, and still the Xbox guys stuck it out. 1 6-month stretch where they don't see COD on PlayStation, and it's the end of the damn world. What do you mean where you don't see COD on PlayStation? What 6-month stretch? What are you talking about? You may have won this battle, but the war will be mine. Every lame villain who gets his butt whooped. Losing your core identity is never a position to be in a winning, in Microsoft's case. Well, in Microsoft's case, they don't feel like they're losing anything. Satya doesn't feel like they're losing anything. He's like, we've gained. We've gained property to sell. That's how Satya views it. Sony let the games do the talking. Xbox let Phil, Discord, YouTube, and X, and whoever else with the mouth and the fingers do the talking. What's your percentage and probability check on the following games, says Maloon. Okay, so Maloon's going to give me a list of games that might be at the state of play. I think your greatest probability of appearances are, I think Monster Hunter Wilds will definitely be there. I think Hell Is Us is going to be there because the PlayStation Store is who leaked the release date of that game. So it's probably there with a release date trailer. I think those are your two absolutely most likely appearances, followed by Yote and Death Stranding 2. I'm an Xbox PC girl, don't hate me. I don't think anybody here has a dislike for Xbox or PC people. I think what people here dislike is dishonesty, and there's just been a lot of dishonesty from that side. Now, both sides obviously do it. I've checked people on that before. I checked people on that yesterday. I said, listen, this idea that, you're going to take a random comment from the director of Avowed where she said something about jank, and like everybody blew it up into, oh, it's going to be janky, it's going to be another Redfall. I called them people on that as well. It's like, no, come on, stop that. I've called the PlayStation guys and the ponies out for that, for being dishonest or misrepresenting things. The Lost Soul Aside Twitter account retweeted the State of Play announcement. Oh, that's another good guess that Lost Soul Aside is there. That's coming this year. That's from the China Hero Project, yes. Maloon says, Yote, high probability. Fair Games, low probability. Horizon Co-op, low probability. Death Stranding 2, high probability. God of War Trilogy, medium probability. Resident Evil 9, high probability. Lost Soul Aside, very high probability. Until Dawn 2, unknown. Uncharted game, unknown. I don't know enough about those last two to say. They're probably showcase or summer season. Maybe. Zubair says, we don't hate preferences around here. We hate stupid and rude or any combination of the two. Right. You think Black Flag and Borderlands 4? I don't know. I think you're going to see it's very unlikely that Borderlands 4, GTA 6, the avowed slander by dishonest actors is ridiculous. Right, and I think I deserve a little bit of credit, Dark City, and I know I don't get credit from the people who hate me. I don't need credit from them. They don't have credit. They're bankrupt, right? So, but credit from the people here and credit from sensible people and intelligent people. I deserve a little bit of credit that there's been a lot of unfair takes and a lot of untrue things said about Xbox or Xbox games or whatever, or the showcases or whatever, and I'm always like, no, that's not true. If to me, I have an aversion to falsehood, so it doesn't matter what's being said or who it's being said about. I don't stand for it. People were doing that with, content creators recently, and I'm like, don't do that. Who are we talking about? I think we were talking about Skill Up, and I got irritated. I was like, don't do that thing where you falsely summarize somebody based on one thing that they said or one opinion that they had, right? To me, my aversion is to things that are not true. Phantom Blade won't be out till 2026. Yeah, Phantom Blade 0 will not be there. Phantom Blade is slated for 2026. Do you think the showcases are truly gone? I don't think PlayStation's ever doing a showcase ever again until it's time for the PS6 announcement. I think they'll do a showcase for that. I think their showcases are basically gone. I think they prefer state of play. I mean, think about it. They just announced a 40-minute state of play. No, more than 40. It's a 40-plus minute state of play. So it's probably like 42, 43 minutes. Homie, that's basically a showcase. Showcases are usually like what, like an hour? I don't know historically how long PlayStation showcases are, but they're typically like an hour, are they not? This is basically the length of a showcase. I think PlayStation showcases are done. Yeah, Baby Steps is probably there, because I think they have a timed exclusivity with that as well, don't they? They like those little goofy games, those little goofy indie titles. All it takes is one opinion for certain people and judgments based off that one take. Well, if you guys didn't see the Icon era, forum post about this Discord that got exposed of people that were basically coordinating, to work against PlayStation people, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the way that they've approached a lot of the stuff that's been going on lately is if somebody says something that they feel like really hurts their view or their side, that they attack it. It's, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised at all if more comes out from that Discord and it was like, oh yeah, get this guy. Oh yeah, get this guy. It's like it's a cult-like form of behavior. It's not fandom. It's the opposite of that. There are plenty of people that are fans of things, and they all get together and they talk about those things. They don't do it in like a weird, protective, FUD-like manner. I agree, Lono. I think that poor reception to May 2023 showcase completely buzzkilled the hype around the name, so sticking with State of Plays throughout the year is more exciting. You'll also notice, with Jim Ryan gone, so are showcases. It's like the new leadership stepped in and said, let's just do State of Plays. We don't need to do showcases. It's not needed. It just sets expectations too high. I said that last year. I was like, when they did a State of Play like around Summer Game Fest, I was like, you're just confusing people now. People go to a State of Play in the summer and they expect a showcase, and they judge it accordingly. People were really upset. People were really upset at the end of the State of Play last year because they were expecting a showcase and they didn't get one. So, if you stop doing them, it minimizes those. It should at least minimize those expectations. Like, we don't do showcases anymore. We do State of Plays. Why does it not surprise me that there was a Discord that specializes and coordinates PlayStation hate? They didn't just coordinate PlayStation hate. They coordinated against particular people. They listed people that they wanted to basically push against. I mean, one of them said something about like hoping somebody gets hit by a bus. And it's like, brother, this is not that serious. These are video games, man. What are you doing? I talked about, I had a clip get a little bit of traction on Twitter about that. I said, everybody's just hook, line, and sinker going along with the talking points. That right there is why. It's more to them than just a thing that they like. They were coordinating against people who would just share PlayStation tech videos. That's insanity. Right. And I told you guys, I said, this has always felt like astroturfing. It has always felt coordinated. It has always felt organized. When they came after me, I told y'all at the time, I said, this doesn't pass the smell test. This feels coordinated. This feels organized. Now, I had somebody come to me and they told me that in some YouTuber's Discord, there was an editor that was basically like, we're going to break his esteem. Get every clip you can. That's targeted harassment. That's like completely out of bounds, both for stating that and organizing that in a Discord. Like, that should get your Discord shut down. That could also get your YouTube channel detonated. But that's what people are doing in this environment. They're taking it way too seriously. I always told you guys, it's like, you're making it personal. It doesn't need to be personal. Like, it doesn't need to be personal. These are just video games, man. Everybody needs to calm down. And listen, I kept telling y'all, it's not about, oh, we like Xbox. There are plenty of Xbox fans here, and you are not a part of this. There's a difference between an Xbox fan and like an anti-Sony fan. You're like against Sony, So you're going to do everything you can to essentially, like, harm that. This person is the man. You're welcome to that opinion. I completely disagree. I think when someone makes it personal, they're a boy. They're a child. That's my opinion. When you unnecessarily make something personal, I judge you to be a boy. There's no reason to go there. They wanted every clip. That's where they went wrong. They never asked me, said Fuzzy. Yeah, they should have come to you, Fuzzy. You have all the clips. Oh, there was definitely a coordinated effort to take his channel dark. 100%. They don't just hate Sony, they hate on Sony. Right. Right. It's never needed to be personal. There's no reason for it. Isn't. I don't make it. When have we ever made it personal here? Somebody comes in and says, well, I just love my Xbox and I like Game Pass and I'm staying put. And I'm always like, that's fine. Oh, I'm going to PC. I'm going to build a PC. I'm going to get better performance than you. Oh, okay, that's fine. You can do that. That's all fine. You wanted the ABK deal. Good for you. I didn't. Like, you should be able to have a conversation about that. I wonder if you were on that list of coordinated attacks during the ABK trial. Suddenly you had an abundance of people coming to chat to get a clip. I didn't just have people coming to chat to get clips, though, Corey. They were all circulating the same image. It was a screenshot of an article of stuff I was falsely accused of in 2020, and they all circulated the same image. That's why I went to Tim Dog and I asked him, because he, at the time, circulated the image. And I was like, did it come from that Discord? He's like, I got kicked out in 2022. Dark Taco with 28 months. Welcome back, Lono. Hope you enjoyed your time off, big guy. Appreciate you. Dark Taco and Piper with 2 months of memberships. But you do talk a lot of crap, bro. You got to understand that some of the stuff you say is offensive to Xbox fans. Do you know what I say to anybody offended by my opinions about Xbox? Grow the frick up. That's my response. Grow the frick up. I wish I had multiple mics like Dave Chappelle. Grow the frick up. Grow up. I drive a Honda Odyssey, and if somebody had an opinion about Honda, I wouldn't be like, well, that's offensive. It's just a brand. It's just a brand, man. My opinion shouldn't be offending anybody. It doesn't make any sense. And to say I talk a lot of crap? What do you mean I talk a lot of crap? Polarin with 22 months. Welcome back. Hopefully you're well rested. Cheers, mate. Thank you, Polarin. Bumping the line to 194. Thank you so much. Remember, guys, when you renew your memberships, it counts toward this if you're at Member Plus or VIP. Some fans need to have more self-respect. Brigading, a coordinated online harassment or dogpiling of a dissenting opinion. My new word of the day. Yeah, that's what brigading is. 100%. A $5 super chat from Wired Rope. Corporations aren't your friends. Yeah, man. That's odd parasocial behavior. I'm just going to call that what it is, man. That's just odd parasocial behavior. The fact that, like, I decided that I didn't like the direction that they were taking and I was critical of their choices and how they handled this gen, and that offended people. You know what you should be offended by? Xbox setting a video to private because it was so egregiously dishonest about the Series S. That should be offensive to you. Mouthpieces, pundits, and articles and YouTubers running damage control for $1 billion company. That should be offensive to you. People just getting in line and becoming mouthpieces and marketing mouthpieces for $1 billion company. That should be offensive to you. As a consumer, you should be offended by that, not my opinions. Who am I? I'm just some guy in a chair with a microphone. I'm nobody. You should be offended by dishonesty, by FUD. You should be offended by people that lie and make up fan fiction. That's what you should be offended by. You should be offended by me being critical of a brand. What about the people defending the brand at all costs and being dishonest and misrepresenting things? That's offensive. That should be insulting to your intelligence. I respect your intelligence. I respect your assumed level of maturity by bringing the heat. I've got more respect for you than the liars do. I've got more respect for you than the people that run fan fiction and fear, uncertainty, and doubt and dishonest headlines. I have more respect for you than they do. I'm willing to lose support and to lose viewership. I'm willing to miss out on deals with companies to just tell you what I think. Sit here and call PlayStation dumb over their PSN debacle that they handled on Steam. You want to know why? Because I don't care. I'm not beholden to PlayStation. I have more respect for you. I'm willing to burn a bridge to give you the truth because I don't care. I don't care if I never get a code to a PlayStation game because I'm too critical. I don't care if I never get a game to an Xbox, game because I'm too critical. I don't care. I have more respect for the consumer and the public than any of those toe the party line liars do. So if you get offended by my opinion or by my views, boy, that's a you problem down to the bone marrow. That's a you problem. Jiminy Christmas. We find out that there's a Discord of coordinated misinformation, disinformation, anti-Sony, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to come in here and be like, well, you talk a lot of crap about Xbox and it's offensive to Xbox fans. What? What? You should be incensed. You should be incensed. You're like, these people are out here doing this? I thought these people were trustworthy. They're in a Discord planning stuff. I got news for you. There's probably way worse stuff in there. I'd put my next paycheck on the fact that I was in there. I guarantee it. Because, boy, they didn't like me. All of a sudden, I had an awful lot of attention from that side. For what? Because I didn't want a merger to go through. Good Lord. Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. Got me in here preaching. Clevelando with 5 months of memberships, and it's a Member Plus. I played 40 hours of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game is going to be Game of the Year, calling it now. It's definitely getting a Game of the Year nomination. Setting us up really nicely for a 5-bomb to 200 members, and I'll owe you guys 20. Now they wish the merger didn't go through. The mountain. I mean, the mountain of apologies that are owed to me is too many. I don't even care for the way I was treated. And now they're all like, yeah, I wish the merger didn't happen. Oh, for Pete's sakes. And a 10-bomb from Behemoth. He says, we'll do more than is needed. And he gets us to 205. Thank you so much, Behemoth. We had our warning with Gamergate. We're in an apocalypse timeline. Grievance and astroturfed rage and prioritized hate is now perhaps the major player in the zeitgeist. I think it burns out, though. Should be a good show tomorrow. Yeah, Seeds. 40 minutes state of play. Probably a lot going on in there. And Dylan gifts a member and pokes the member line. 20 bomb away from the next milestone. I owe you guys 20. Let's just do it. Let's just do it right now. Let's just keep the ball rolling. Guys, if you haven't taken a quick second, take a quick second and smash the like button. Smash that like button. Let's get to 300 likes. And we need 2 more super chats to make some confetti. And then I owe you guys. J Hart says, I used to say the pro Xbox sentiment felt like a hive mind, and now I'm seeing what they were really doing. Listen, I've told you guys this so many times. It's always felt like astroturfing. They all say the same things. Like, they use the same phrases, the same verbology. It's like, what are you all doing? The new Xbox fans remind me of the Stadia fans that hated me for reporting a rumor of a shutdown. Oh, yeah, I remember that, FCAT. I don't remember you reporting that, but I remember that. I remember when there was rumors about it going away, and I was like, sounds right to me. Companies that size, they just kill stuff. You know? They'll just detonate stuff if they don't feel like it's going well. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. Do you remember the one that kept coming around? Remember the one talking point that kept coming around? They kept saying that the Xbox Series S had more 120 FPS games than the PS5. The Xbox Series S had more 60 FPS games than the PS5. Do you remember that one? I was like, where is this coming from? They kept coming in and saying it. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Oh, the previews are landing. Yes, let's go. All right, let's take a look at these previews. I promised you guys a preview roundup of South of Midnight. Let's take a peek here. I'm very, very hopeful for this game. All right. We have Eurogamer. South of Midnight bottles up some very special Southern magic, but is it enough? I'm just going to scroll to their conclusions. I don't want to read through the whole thing. Good golly, get out of here. I found that the combat in Chapter 3 a little on the roadside. The game, story, and setting went a long way to make up for it. After learning how to double jump and glide with the help of Mahalia, I soon found mythical talking catfish whose voice had been asking for help earlier. Oh, wait, this is not the conclusion. Here we go. Let's read this. As my time came to a close, I also came away impressed by the team's approach to making South of Midnight accessible for all types of players. While I am personally quite enamored with the game's stop motion's effect, I know it isn't for everyone, and there is an option to turn these off during gameplay, although they will remain during cutscenes. Oh, I thought you could turn off the stop motion in the cutscenes as well. Meanwhile, players will also be able to curate their difficulty settings on the fly, adjust the camera shake and the text size. Yeah, I don't like camera shake. Sequences, okay. As I've already stated, I do have some small concerns about South of Midnight, but I'm also aware I've only played a relatively condensed section of it. If I put those concerns aside for a minute, I believe there's still a carefully curated substance to the rest of the game. The world Compulsion has crafted here is a magical one, and it holds a real spark of promise. I still eagerly await South of Midnight's April release, so I can once again venture back into the mythical deep south with Hazel, uncover more of the beautiful game secrets, and listen to the stories they have to tell, okay? We got one here from ZTGD. We're just going to go to conclusive statements here. One of the most striking things about it is the visual, seeing in action, difference altogether. Once inside the game, everything takes on stop motion style. I really connected with the characters. South of Midnight has been one of my most cautiously anticipated games of 2025. I always thought it looked amazing, and the setting the setting was fresh and exciting. After spending an hour with it, I could not wait to play more. It feels like Compulsion has a hit on their hands, and I cannot wait to play the final version when it drops in April. Having played it now, though, the wait is even more excruciating. Definitely check this one out when it drops later in the spring. And then we've got one here from Gaming Bible. Wow, they wrote a lot for just an hour. Get out of here. Oh, my gosh. I'm just trying to read. Oh, wait. I'm in a new game. I was like, man, they wrote an awful lot about South of Midnight. Here we go. A preview has one goal. It should leave you wanting more, and that's exactly the case with South of Midnight. I'm avidly followed along with the game's progress ever since its initial reveal, and I only do so more now that I've experienced a small piece of the pie. I should draw attention to that. What I experienced was a relatively short offering. And I'm keen to see how the combat and the platforming fares and develops later on in the game, but solid foundations have been built. South of Midnight is a delicious treat, both visually and in terms of rich storytelling. We could easily be looking at one of the year's standout titles if the full package delivers. Skill Up here saying, South of Midnight is all about storytelling and vibes, hands-on impressions. Okay, I can't watch that right now. IGN here saying, we finally played South of Midnight for ourselves. We found that the We Happy Few developers' first game since has been acquired by Xbox is anything but generic. Okay. There we go. Team knows not everyone's going to want it. I will say I did catch a couple, and when everything... Okay. Compulsions aiming for 60. Okay. There were a couple moments with frame rate issues that haven't been fully ironed out yet, but Compulsion is aiming at 60 FPS on the Series X by launch, and when everything is running smoothly as it ought to, South of Midnight should be a uniquely beautiful game that might even make you cry a little bit too. Yeah, so they didn't do like a traditional sort of ender there. I'll be honest with you, this is fine, but these seem really short. These seem a little short, like an hour long doesn't seem like enough. I mean, maybe the game itself's not very long, and that might make more sense as to why they only had an hour with it. Previews are previews. Usually previews are somewhere in the 2 to 3 hour range, but maybe because South of Midnight is not a super long game, maybe they kept it as a shorter preview event, which is totally fine. I'm not concerned. It just seems like, oh wow, an hour. I would feel really pressed. I'm speaking from experience here. I would feel really pressed to try to get the vibe and the feel of a game in an hour. Like, that's a very, very small amount of time. That's usually like the tutorial and then maybe a mission. So, and previews tend to favor positive. So I am looking forward to South of Midnight. These all sound fine. Let's see here. Hang on. Did Jez do this one? No, Samuel Tolbert from Windows Central wrote one, and he says, from the stop-motion inspired animation to the droning sounds of the swamp, South of Midnight is one of the most stylish games I've gotten my hands on in a long time, and it speaks to me on a personal level that I never thought imaginable. While I still have some questions, I'm more eager to play the full game. If the rest of the experience keeps up the same sense of escalation and creeping macabre mixed with humor, then South of Midnight could be one of this year's best games. April can't get here soon enough. It will launch on April the 8th, so there you have it. A little on-the-fly South of Midnight preview roundup. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button. Let's quickly right now try to hit 300 likes. We're at the 1 hour mark of the broadcast. Let's hit 300 likes. And plenty of people have already gifted memberships, as well as a couple of super chats as well. So thank you to everybody who has done that. We have some big ones at the top already. Behemoth with a 10 bomb, PWH on and Mash with 20 bombs at the top as well. Hellblade 2 at the State of Play. Yeah, somebody brought that up yesterday. You know, will the PlayStation State of Play have games like that? There are two extremes that I don't think are going to be at the event, okay? Number one, I do not think GTA 6 will be at a PlayStation event this year, ever. I think GTA 6, the release date, GTA 6 trailer 2, I think all of that is going to be on their own timeline, on their own channels, on their own stuff, right? However, I think there's another extreme. Yeah, it was you, Chris. I don't think anybody's shocked by that. The other extreme is basically having former Xbox release titles that are porting to PlayStation be at a State of Play. I just don't think so. I do not think so. I don't think that PlayStation's going to do that. Now, I could be wrong. If PlayStation's going to put a game from Xbox in their State of Play or in a showcase or whatever, it'd be Doom the Dark Ages. It'd be The Outer Worlds 2. It'd be something new. Right? I do not think, and again, I could be wrong here. Maybe PlayStation sees it as a big advantage in the market to put games like Forza Horizon 5 in their State of Play. Right? I don't know. Or whenever we finally get a Starfield announcement or whatever, because there's a lot of rumors about that. Hopefully there's a Discord out here to coordinate efforts of attack on anybody claiming, that Starfield's coming to PS5, because, with the way that I was treated, hopefully, they're doing the same thing now to all the Xbox insiders that are claiming that Starfield's coming to PS5. We want you to be consistent in your weird, creepy Discords. Anyway, even, Starfield, Forza Horizon, I don't think that they would put that in a state of play. I don't think so. They've got so many games coming. Raphael McCoy with 9 months. Thanks for all the content. Very proud to be a member here. I appreciate you. Raphael McCoy gets us to 207. Let me just show you what I mean. All right. Where is it? Okay. I think this is a really good indicator of how they're going to handle their marketing in state of play. Okay. I think this is a really, really good indicator as to why I don't think you'll see Forza Horizon or anything else like that. I'm muted in Discord? That's weird. I was talking a moment ago. I was literally talking a moment ago and it was showing up. That's weird. So this right here shows... I don't think they're going to be including something like Forza Horizon. Why? There are so many new games that they're going to want to focus on. Yote being probably at the front. Hell Is Us is probably there. They just had their release date leaked by the PlayStation Store. Assassin's Creed Shadows. And again, if something's there from Xbox, it's probably Doom the Dark Ages. Death Stranding 2. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza. I mean, Little Nightmares 3 is not huge, but they like including smaller games in their stuff. Where Winds Meet. We've heard that Lost Soul Aside is going to be there. Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't think you would show old games in your state of play because that's how they would be viewed. What do you mean Forza Horizon 5? That's a 5-year-old game. What do you mean Starfield? That's a 2-year-old game. That's what people would say. I don't think that would have good optics. It's like there is an abundance of new games that they could include. I mean, Elden Ring Night Rain for Pete's sakes, on the cusp of the network test. You know what I mean? On the cusp of the network test, Split Fiction, Crimson Desert, Civ 7, Mafia: The Old Country, Baby Steps has been included in a lot of their stuff. Midnight Walk. I think that blog post right there shows you. I don't think that PlayStation's going to be interested in including old Xbox games that are coming over in their showcase. They're happy to have them. It's just an opportunity for more revenue. But I do not think you're going to see a push to include those games. Are these games that are being shown? Those are games on a blog, Zinthos, that was published a while ago. That was published end of last year or early this year. It's like, oh, here's all the great games coming in 2025. I think that shows you the marketing thrust of PlayStation is going to be on their stuff and then third-party stuff. Like, GTA 6 isn't even on that blog post, which I think proves the claims false. People are like, oh, there's a GTA 6 marketing deal with PlayStation. Why is GTA 6 not on that blog post then? Arguably the biggest game of 2025. It's been slated for 2025 of fall from November of last year, and it was just reinforced to be coming in fall on their most recent earnings call. So the GTA 6 release date, I mean, it's not been stated, but maybe there's two things that could be going on. If PlayStation does have a marketing agreement with GTA 6, they're not allowed to say anything until the release date's ironed out because they don't want to be out here promoting the game and then it gets delayed. They probably, both Take-Two and PlayStation, don't want that to happen, right? So that could be going on if there is a marketing deal. I personally don't think that there is one. But if there is one, then that could be a stipulation. That, yeah, we don't really want to include it in a state of play or something until you have an ironed out release date. Which, if PlayStation is involved, if they are involved to any degree with the marketing, you would see that probably meet out in the summer. You would see that with whatever PlayStation decides to do in They usually like to do things end of May, early June as a part of the Summer Game Fest, but they like to go before everybody else. Only reason GTA 6 doesn't make it this year would be because of the Series S. I mean, I don't think that would be the only reason. I think that it's just a gigantic game. I would imagine by now they've got that game ironed out for the S. It's probably all of the other systems and scope and size of the city, and those are the types of things that are probably potentially going to push it out of this year. The scope of the game is probably more of an issue than the Series S, which I know that there's a quote floating around from the guy from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 that's being largely misrepresented by the folks that like to cheer for Team Green. I'm sure they coordinated this in a Discord as well. So they were doing an interview, and he basically said that with respect to optimization, the other platforms were helped by all the extra work they had to do for the Series S. I would not consider that to be a feather in the cap of the Xbox Series S. I believe that's just another indictment. Like, we had to do more work. We had to trim things down, as he said. They had to trim things down for the Series S. That's more work. I don't think developers are hearing that interview and lining up to say, we can't wait to do the same thing. Again, this is another one of those times where I don't think this is the win that you think it is. That interview and what that man said is not a victory for Team Xbox. It isn't. Developers know exactly what that man said. He basically said, well, yeah, we had to do extra work. We had to trim lots of things down to get this thing to work on the Series S, and that benefited the other platforms because maybe they learned some optimization tricks. Who knows? But that, again, that's not a victory lap that I would take if I was cheering for Team Green. That a developer basically just came out and said, yeah, we had to do extra optimization work for the Series S. And that inadvertently benefited the other platforms. Well, okay. Do developers want to do extra work, extra optimization work for a platform whose sales are continuing to drop? I just don't think so. I don't think that that's the headline that you want to have. It was like when they tried to claim, oh, well, the Take-Two CEO is not worried about the Series S. It's like, you're looking at the universe upside down. He was asked about the Series S during an earnings call. That means that it's a known quantity in the industry. You know what I mean? David N. with a Member Plus. Renews for 4 months. Thank you so much. Guys, if you ever want to double check that you've got a renewal, hit the $sign at the bottom of the chat. If you've ever considered supporting the channel directly, just be sure you pick Member Plus. You can help us hit a really big goal. $6 a month gets you into all the content. If you listen on a regular basis and you like this show, I'm able to do this full time because of folks who support the show directly. And if you haven't yet, double check that you've smashed the like button. We only need 20 more likes. And this is something you can do as a member. Your question can be featured. Dave Langer says, with how badly Concord failed, does Sony really want to show off a new live service game at their next State of Play? I don't think so, Dave. That's what I said. I don't think the optics are I don't think the market would be receptive to that right now. And a single gifted comes in from Alfonso, and he bumps that member line to 209. Thank you so much, Alfonso. Yeah, when somebody said that, like Fair Games might be there, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if the water is warm. I don't know if the market waters are warm yet. I think everything's very, very cool and tepid and a little icy. Like, yeah, I wouldn't walk out with a live service game right now. And I wouldn't even relate it to Concord. I mean, I would relate it more to the canceled live service games. Now, PlayStation may see it another way. They may say, the gaming market at large doesn't care about that. The headlines about the canceled live service games, it didn't cause a blip for them. Didn't cause any issues with, market reception or market confidence. So they could easily be saying, yeah, we can walk out our own marketing plan, our own marketing times. We don't We don't need to worry about that. It's kind of like when people will, cry and whine for, more first party. Where's first party? Well, they don't care about that the way that we do. Corey says, it would not surprise me one bit that Fair Games will be a completely different thing than what they originally announced. Yeah, I don't know. Concord was featured at a State of Play. Doubt they want double the showcase of another. Oh, I think you meant doubt. Doubt they want to showcase another. Yeah. I think that's a fair made point. Guys, make sure YouTube's saving your likes. It's doing that thing. It's doing that weird thing. Double check that it saved your thumbs up. We should be at 300. It's doing that thing where I'm like, make sure you're doing the likes, and then it like moves by 2. Now the guy on Twitter that was talking to me about this, and he said like it's the most important State of Play roadmap, blah 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 blah. He says, I 100% expect a surprise. They can't just roll out Yote and Death Stranding 2 and think that's enough. If they do, then we're all in trouble. Why? Playing from the lead, they could play it safe, but I'm hoping they get spicy. Maybe try a trick play because they fumble don't matter. Hang on. I don't think they view it the way you and I do. This blog proves the point. They can lean on third and second party and make tons of money as the market leader. I just think that blog post 100% proves the point. They do not view it the way that you and I do. They're not in the business of like, we need a better cadence. We need a better cadence of first party. I don't think, there it goes, 300 likes. Thank you guys. I really don't think they look at it that way. XDev was hyping up on Twitter, cautiously optimistic because of them. Which game are you talking about, High on Life? I think Fair Games is going to be a campaign shooter with a multiplayer component. It'll receive periodic updates for additional content. I see them going for that model. I don't know. I mean, for it to suddenly go away from competitive heist shooter to that, that would be a pretty significant change. It would. If you guys are looking for GTA 6 news, I opened up the show with an interview about that game coming to PC. It looks like it's going to be coming quicker than times in the past. Yeah, a lot of you are coming in here from GTA 6 as well. A lot of you are looking for Monster Hunter Wilds info. Monhun Wilds put out some PS5 Pro enhanced videos on Twitter. It actually looks like the game is going to run significantly better on the Pro versus the base model, mainly because of the upscaler. They're going to be using FSR 1 for upscaling on the PlayStation 5 base model, but the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to use PSSR. I think it's going to run significantly better in performance mode, particularly. Amon86 says, it's funny when people try to doom and gloom Sony. They've made huge mistakes, but they're still getting great second and third party games every year. Second, third, first party. 2 to 3 first party games is still something. Yeah, I just think that they're probably anticipating not needing to press more than about, like you're saying, like 2 a year. Because, and again, Herman Hulst views Death Stranding 2 as a first party effort. He took a question about that, and he listed Yote and Death Stranding 2 for this year, and he was asked about first party. So in his mind, they probably also view Lost Soul Aside as first party. So that's 3. Again, you've got to look at it from their perspective. If you're rigidly saying, well, I'm only going to count games where PlayStation owns the studio, you've made it virtually impossible for them to hit that number. Again, that's a bleed green talking point. That's not the talking point of a gamer. That's somebody who wants Xbox to win some arbitrary contest. If you're only talking about publishing efforts or exclusivity efforts, then you are not at all dissatisfied with your PlayStation. Like, seriously, think about it. Just track with me. When we had this discussion recently about Ninja Gaiden, and Ninja Gaiden 4 is considered Xbox first party because Xbox is publishing it. Okay, then that means last year, PlayStation did an incredible job. They did. If publishing is what matters, if exclusivity is what matters, because Xbox is publishing the Ninja Gaiden game, it's not even exclusive. It's not even exclusive. They're just publishing it. They're just publishing another multiplayer game. So if you look at last year, then PlayStation did a great job with Stellar Blade, with Rise of the Ronin, with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Even Helldivers, again, if you're a console player, Helldivers 2, and then Astrobot. And I'm leaving out remakes. I'm leaving out, Silent Hill 2, and I'm leaving out The Last of Us Part 2 Remaster. So, this year, publishing efforts from PlayStation, I'm benefiting from. I'm getting Ghost of Yotei. I'm getting Death Stranding 2. I'm getting Lost Soul Aside. Now, I don't know about these other smaller titles. I don't know if they're publishing them. Black Myth Wukong? Yeah, I don't count Wukong. That was not a publishing effort or an exclusive deal with PlayStation. PlayStation's going out and spending their money to get me stuff. Why do I care what the check is for? Well, here's a check for publishing. Well, they didn't write a check for ownership. So? Who the frick cares? Do you see? Like, you're setting yourself up for disappointment because you're creating priorities and, like, arbitrary rules. You're creating those things in order to say, well, they didn't do a good job, or, well, they were disappointed. Well, if you just want to be disappointed, just say it. If you just want to be disappointed, then just say that you want to be disappointed. It doesn't seem like you're looking to enjoy games or enjoy playing games. You're looking for reasons to be upset. Repeat what you said. I'm not sure what you're asking me to repeat. They've managed to completely remove the actual games from the conversation about games. Right. Critics of Sony money-hatting do not want to mention that it's not just money, but 9 out of 10 dev support and QA marketing. Oh, you're saying that it supports other things. Xbox spent $100 billion for those studios. Right. Now imagine if they would have spent $100 billion getting exclusivity deals, partnerships, publishing efforts. If they would have doubled down on Series X and not done a Series S. If they would have worked with companies, devs, and studios to build amazing games for the Series X, I think we'd be in a different scenario. You can drive demand of your product that way. PlayStation has done it. I think Xbox could have done something similar. I think they could have said, we're going to spend $100 billion, and instead of all those dollars going to ownership, we could put it into publishing and exclusivity, and it would have benefited you. They're spending money to get us games. Repeat that part. Yeah, to me, both companies are spending money. One company is spending money to publish and bring exclusives to their platform. Another company spent a bunch of money so that they could publish games everywhere. I don't think in either scenario you could say that one effort is better than another. You have to test the products when they show up, right? So you have to ask the question, was it worth the $100 billion to basically turn into a publisher? And then you look at, PlayStation spending efforts, and you're like, well, was it worth the money that they spent to publish Stellar Blade or get deals with Rise of the Ronin and Final Fantasy and Grand Blue and all those other games? Like, where was the money best spent? Well, that's subjective to the consumer and what you either like or enjoy. I don't think it would have. There's a lot of people out there who will never buy anything from the Xbox ecosystem. It's hard to say, Jake. It's hard to say. There are an awful lot of people who bought a PlayStation 5 who didn't have a PlayStation 4. Something convinced them. Yeah, they the Shift Up anticipates selling more copies of Stellar Blade on PC. Yeah. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, subscribing is totally free and it enables you to talk in my chat. You do not have to be a member to ask questions, but if you are a member, you can have your questions featured like this. Ravenous Gojira said, which game do you think we get a release date for? Ghost of Yotei or Death Stranding 2? I lean Death Stranding 2. I lean Ghost of Yotei because my gut says that Ghost of Yotei is earlier in the year than Death Stranding 2. I feel like Death Stranding 2 is second half of the year, and they don't want to announce the date until we know. The GTA 6 release date is a shadow over the entire dadgum year. It is. It's the GTA 6 release date. It's a shadow over the entire year. Nobody is going to say or commit to anything until we can get that date. That's just the way that it is. I mean, that's the facts. And again, I'm basing my my prediction off of just the feel of Death Stranding, the size and scope of Death Stranding, the timeline from Kojima Productions. I think Death Stranding 2 is a second half of the year game. I think it's a late game. Detective Seed says, I believe we get release dates for both. PlayStation knows GTA 6 release window. Well, I mean, everybody knows fall, but wouldn't Sony have the release date, though? Not yet. Not yet. I don't think they have the release. Again, release window, yes. Release window, yes. But not, there's no release date known. I don't think so. If PlayStation knew the release date of GTA 6, I think that would have leaked. The more people that know, the more people that are told stuff like that, I think that it ends up getting leaked. I think they're going to keep that pretty clamped down. With PS5 outpacing PS4 sales, Sony's doing something right. Well, and I think that your markets are always going to have trends in one direction or another, and I just think the trend this gen has been the team that stuck with the core principles won. The team that tried to do something different lost. I think there's a level of admirableness to trying something different, to trying a different approach, but I think both PlayStation and Nintendo are going to prove a lot of the predictions wrong. Like, well, the market's changing, but I think they're going to show that that's just not the case. What are you and Eugene going back and forth about? Let's see. COVID didn't make non-PS4 people buy a PS5 to any significant degree. The PS5s were not available. And Jake says, sure, not available means they didn't sell them. I'm confused how that makes any sense. Or just maybe they sold them all as everyone was locked inside and video games were were an out. It was an out. Right. Here's the problem with what you're saying, Jake. They revealed that number recently. So your assumption being in that first year, I believe around the time Returnal came out, there was only like 7 million in the wild. And by the end of that calendar year, there was about 10 million people owning PS5s. Okay. The stat that came out that said, 1/3 of PS5 owners didn't have a PS4, that stat came out recently when they were around 60 million. So your prediction doesn't line up with the timing. Like, there was no COVID effect at that point. We were from beneath the shadow of COVID. Production lines had picked up. Distribution had picked up. So when they arrive at 60 million in circulation, there's like 20 million people that bought a PS5 that didn't have a PS4. So your assessment is just factually off. There's just no way that, again, they only sold like 7 to 10 million by the end of the calendar year of like 2021 when Returnal came out. So that doesn't make sense. Where 20 million people bought a PS5 that didn't have a Pro. So, yeah, I don't think COVID was the reason that number hit what it hit. Dylan says, I've missed a show since becoming a member. Lono, love what you're doing. Keep it up. We're one super chat away from some confetto. Your anecdote is useless. Yeah, I mean, yeah. My own uncle never played video games, bought a PS5 because he was bored. It was one of the reasons. I don't think so. They didn't sell enough. Quantitatively, I think your prediction doesn't work because quantitatively, that was only U.S. data. I don't believe it was total sales. What stat are you referring to, Paul? Give us newbies the origin behind Lono. I graduated high school in 2000, so I don't necessarily look my age. I'm 43. So I graduated in 2000, and around that time, it can be hard to believe this, but I would sit at the lunch table with my friend, and I would rant, and I would rave, and I would go on these tangents. And he told me that I really reminded him of Dennis Leary. So I watched some of Dennis Leary's stand-up, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then I watched a movie called Suicide Kings, and it has Christopher Walken and Dennis Leary in it. Dennis Leary's character in that movie, his name is Lono, and I thought it was a dope name, and I used that name for my handle on PC back when I played like Quake 3 Rock Arena. So you're telling me right now that those who purchased a PS5 during COVID all owned a PS4 already? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they didn't sell enough for your prediction to be true. You're saying that it was a factor. If by the end of 2021 they had only sold 10 million, in order for your prediction to have any merit, more than half of those people would have had to be like not from the PS4 era, because that'd be 5 million people. That would mean that about 1/4 of the people in the total, when they walked that out, the 30%, it wasn't just US data. Incorrect. It was total sales. I'm saying it was a significant number. It wasn't. Right. If roughly 20 million people who bought the PS5 were like, yeah, we didn't have a PS4, and if you think COVID was a significant impact, you would at least need 5 million of that first 10 million to be people not from the PS4 era, because that would be 1/4 of the 20 million. Do you see what I'm saying? If they didn't sell enough for your prediction to work, I just don't think so. Yo, what's good? Toasty Buns with 37 months of memberships. The effort to obtain a PS5 during that time was significant. Yes, exactly. The people that were really trying to get a PS5 during that era were more than likely largely PS4 owners. Where's the 10 million coming from? What years? I've said it multiple times, Jake. By the end of 2021, by the end of the calendar year, when Returnal dropped, there was only about 7 million in circulation. By the end of that calendar year, there was about 10 million PlayStations in circulation, PlayStation 5s. Only 10. You walk into 2022 and COVID's no longer a factor, my man. People aren't sitting at home buying the PS5 because they're bored. So you only can look at that 10 million and say, out of that 10 million, how many bought a PS5 who didn't have a PS4? A very small number. Sony's earnings call for the third quarter of the 2022 fiscal year. That's when they talked about the 30%. End of the call, third quarter fiscal year. It was reiterated recently. It was reiterated when they hit 60 million, Paul. I remember looking at the report. It was last year. It was early last year. Early 2024, that stat was reiterated in an earnings call. I remember reading it and thinking they were close to 60 million at that time. I think they were in the 58, 56. They were in the high 50s when they reiterated that stat. It's in one of our videos. I talked about it. I was like, that's almost 20 million people. I talked about it in our video about people switching from PC because I got a bunch of hate comments about it. When was that? PlayStation focusing on PC. I think that's the video where I talked about it. That was April of 2024. Yeah, I think Wolverine's next year. I don't think Wolverine's this year. If Insomniac has a game this year, it'll be like a $40 or $50 Venom game, sort of akin to what they did with Miles Morales. That'd be my guess. Last 2 gens, I've waited till towards the end of the gen to pick up the consoles. Lots of games have built up by that point. Yeah, you benefit from waiting. You do. Especially if you wait and buy the Pro, James. I mean, goodness gracious, you're going to play far better versions of all the games that most of us played on our base PS5s. Broken Lobo says, it stands to reason that at the beginning of the gen, platform preference dictated purchase behavior. Ergo, Xbox One owners purchased an Xbox Series, and PS4 owners like myself clamored for the PS5, especially considering how difficult it was to get a PS5. It was not easy. I don't think you had a bunch of people who were like, well, I'm bored, I'll just go and get myself one of those PS5s. No. The people that were getting them were, the highest probability is that the vast majority of those people were PS4 owners, because that's your early adopters. You know, those are your early adopters. Those are your people that want to get in day one, moment one. We might get Intergalactic before Wolverine. I think we get Intergalactic before Wolverine. I think Intergalactic is early next year, maybe holiday this year. I think so. They've been working on it since like 2020. I think Intergalactic could show up holiday this year as a surprise, or early next year. I think Intergalactic lands before Wolverine, 100%. Wolvie is mid to late next year. That's what I think. I don't think Insomniac's cadence is that fast for a new one. They had a fast cadence with Miles and Spider-Man 2, but that's understandable. They were working within the same, city, animation sets, characters, and all of that. Like, it was, they could produce it a lot faster. Don't they have 3 teams? They do. I'm just here to tell you, I don't think Wolverine is close. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just basing this off of the leaks and the gut feeling that I get about their work cadence. I don't think Insomniac's close. I found that I have one PS4 game that is full of downloadable content that's impossible to buy today, so I want to make a backup. Why is it impossible to buy? You wouldn't be able to download it via backwards compatibility? Eugene says, COVID was not a driving force behind new users to PS5. They'd only sold 19 million at the end of fiscal year 2021. Wait, end of fiscal year? So the first quarter of 2022, they were at 19? I thought it was 10 million at the end of 2021 calendar year. You're telling me they doubled that in the first quarter of 2022? I might have my dates wrong. I swear that when we looked at it, it was the end of calendar year of 2021, they had hit 10 million. It was like 7 million was in circulation at the time that they launched Returnal. Digital Dudes with a $2 super chat. They messed up by showing Wolverine too early. I think early gen teasers are common. I don't like that they're common, but I think that they're common. So an early gen teaser is basically you're trying to build confidence in this generation that you're about to launch. So that's what they did with Wolverine. Xbox did the same thing with State of Decay and Hellblade 2 and Fable. Like, you're showing all these games super early. You're trying to establish confidence in the gen that we're about to go into, right? So I agree with you. It's too early. You take a big risk when you do that. The only thing I will applaud is that I much prefer, and it's just my personal opinion, this isn't objectively true or anything, this is just my opinion. I think it's far better to drop the teaser and then say nothing until it's time to show gameplay. Right? Like, if you continue to show up if you continue to show up, with just these cinematic trailers over and over and over again, you forget they wasted resources on the Tlu online game. That was a small team, though. That was not all of Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog's been working on Intergalactic for about 4 or 5 years now. Whatever they were doing on The Last of Us Factions was not the full team. They sliced that off during production of Tlu 2, and then they continued to work on other things. Like they've said this. I've been earning trophies on tables that nobody can buy anymore. Oh, Pinball Arcade by Farsight. Most of the table licenses expired. Oh. If you joined my Discord and you can't find chat, you have to sync your Discord with your YouTube account, or you won't be able to see anything. It depends on how early that teaser drops. Wolverine was only a teaser, and it was way too early. I, again, don't like it, but I will 100% tolerate a teaser and then dead silence for years. I'm totally okay with that. You have to let your shareholders in the market know that you've got stuff cooking. I am 100% okay with that. What I don't like is when you get a teaser and then a cinematic and then a cinematic and then a cinematic. Like, I don't like that at all. Teaser and then dead silence is I'm totally okay with that. Because then when you finally show up, buddy, you better have gameplay, and then shortly after that, you better have a release date. I'm okay with that. It's totally fine to say, hey, we're working on Perfect Dark, and then you say nothing for years. I'm fine with that. Metroid, when they showed that one teaser, I'm fine with that. If you guys are just tuning in and you're looking for GTA 6 news, the latest news is, and this is my own prediction based off of comments from Strauss Zelnick, is that the GTA 6 PC release date is going to be faster this time around because they view the PC market as more viable and a bigger chance for growth than they have in the past. So that's the latest news, is he did an interview where he essentially said that. We're also talking about the verified PlayStation State of Play, which is tomorrow. I will be co-streaming that, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have the bell button set to all. If you've never subscribed to this channel before, you can subscribe and instantly talk in my chat. And if you listen and lurk on a regular basis, you can support the channel directly with a paid membership, and you can get into double the content. We have morning coffee every morning. We have the green room at the end of every day, and you get access to that. Just make sure you pick Member Plus. We've got a big goal right now of Member Plus members, and you can help us hit that goal. If you can't do a membership, hit subscribe, hit like. Make sure you guys have hit that like button. Go through that ritual, and you may get a gifted member. We have big gifting of members here. I've already done my own 20 bomb. One more super chat, and I'll owe you guys a member. So thank you guys so much. Wolverine should have been revealed this year instead of 2021. You are welcome to that opinion, but again, you have to understand why they did what they did and when they did it. Patrick Q with a gifted member rounds us out to 210 and makes it look a little prettier. That 209 is now a 210. You have to understand what they were doing at that time. They're trying to say PlayStation 5 is going to have some bangers. And when they show you Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine in the same showcase, you need to assign and align your expectations of those games are going to be far apart. They're not going to be close together. They're not. They're completely separate games. Like, they're going to be 4, maybe 5 years apart. Based on dev cycles, you got to know. So that's kind of on you to think that, well, they shouldn't have shown it, and then, well, where is it? It's like, well, what do you mean? Spider-Man 2 was out, like, what, a year and a half ago? Spider-Man 2 just came to PC too early. It wasn't even ready. And a gifted member from Alfonso, little single gifted member train here. Every 25, I give 5. We're 14 away from 225. Thank you, boys. Almost 2 years, wasn't it? It was like 18 months ago when Spider-Man 2 released. Because we did the math on Spider-Man 2. No, 14 months. It's like 14 or 15 months. We did the math on Spider-Man 2 coming to PC. It's the fastest PC port they've ever done. And look at the results. Like, really, really great strategy, guys. Like, what's the score? Has it gotten better at all? Spider-Man 2 Steam. Freaking dadgum joke. Yeah, one of their best games. One of their best games is sitting over here with a frickin' with a dadgum 67%. You morons. You absolute buffoons. What a disrespect. What a mistreat. If I'm Disney, if I'm Marvel, I'm picking up the phone, dude. I'm picking up the phone. What the frick did you do with our boy? What did you do with our boy? That's Spider-Man. What are y'all doing over there? Golly. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Two of the best studios in the market with respect to game quality and ports, and your name's attached to that? Embarrassing. Inexcusable and embarrassing. Shouldn't have happened. I honestly feel like if they're going to continue to bring games to PC, if you can't wait at least 18 months to 2 years, and that's what you're going to do when you like shorten the window to like 14 months or whatever, you're wasting your time and you are wasting your money. Disrespectful and churlish. D-nice. Honestly, why care about PC? It's a big market. It's a growing market. What do you mean? Capcom changed their attitude about PC, and PlayStation did about the exact same time when predictions were significant growth in the PC market, especially in the Asian market. It's why insubordinate and churlish. Is it insubordinate? It's why PlayStation's China Hero project is doing day and date on PC, because they're publishing in the Chinese market with Chinese companies. The PC can be very good for you. It's been good for a lot of their games. It was good for God of War 2018. It was good for Spider-Man 1. It's been good for Tsushima. It was good for Returnal. Like, they didn't sell like gangbusters, but some of those sold really well, and they got good reviews. That's more people saying, man, PlayStation makes good product. They ain't saying it now. They ain't saying it now. Sales show that pirates don't affect them as you think. Final Fantasy might have a word. Broken Games here talking about the state of play. He says, we know it's going to be a bunch of multi-plats and maybe one mention of a first party, so I really don't care about or get excited about these. But yeah, of course, I'll watch. You got to set your expectations. I mean, it sounds like he's doing that. But you got to set your expectations, man. The PlayStation just isn't there. They are not at all in the business of flooding you with first party. They're just not. Spider-Man 1 barely sold 1 million. Oh, on PC. Some of that was price point and reception. Like, I think that they heard it. The other games that came and had their prices lowered did better. I think Spider-Man 1 would have performed a lot better commercially if they wouldn't have done what they did with the price. You know? Sony gets the info on 3rd. Why aren't you excited unless you are just a talking head? To be fair, the 2021 showcase was 40 minutes. This could be good. A 40-minute state of play is going to be probably pretty beefy. I think they're giving somebody the 20-minute treatment. It could be Monhun Wilds. It could be Yote. It could be Death Stranding 2. My personal thought and prediction is you're getting a 20-minute state of play, and then at the very end of it, there's going to be a 20-minute sort of deep dive of gameplay, something more lengthy. It'll either be Monhun Wilds, Ghost of Yote, or Death Stranding 2. Yeah. It is probably... It's hard to know. If Yote's first half of this year with a release date, it'll be Yote. Yeah, it'll be Yote. If not, it'll be Monhun Wilds, because I think Death Stranding 2 is second half of this year. 20-minute deep dive of Monhun Wilds after multiple betas. I don't know. I'm just the PS5 Pro enhancement stuff that Hunter Wilds just pushed out on Twitter makes me think that they might be working together on the marketing. Hunter just had a presentation. Yeah, then if the likelihood of it being Hunter is going down because of their presence in the market, and they maybe like you're saying they just recently did something, then again maybe Yotei or Death Stranding 2. Yeah, I don't think, no, it's not going to be a GTA 6 deep dive. I know you're kidding around, Hotshot. There are people that think that you know, GTA 6 is going to potentially be there, or that like there's like a marketing deal between PlayStation and GTA 6. I don't think so. Detective C's tweeted that there will be a new AAA at the State of Play. Didn't know if you saw that. A new AAA game? First party? Let me see here. New AAA game, first or third party? I'm going to ask him. I think we see Wolverine. No, because I believe Wolverine is 2026, and I don't think you would use Wolverine in February for a 2026. I think that Wolverine will be at the summer, and they'll end the trailer with 2026. Same way they did with Yotei. The way that PlayStation markets their first party, you have to see they don't step on each other. Yotei's going to get the most focus this year. Yotei, Death Stranding 2, and Lost Soul Aside are all going to take turns getting a lot of the showcase, a lot of the spotlight. Wolverine will not show up until Yotei has been released, and then Wolverine will show up, and it'll purely be a trailer like we saw from Sucker Punch. It'll be a trailer like that, and it'll end with 2026. Boom, and then they'll go quiet again, and then they'll get back to focusing on Death Stranding 2 and Lost Soul Aside. Yeah, I don't think you see Wolverine until the summer. If it is a 2026 release, you'll get a trailer for Wolverine in the summer, and then or they'll wait, because Yotei showed up at the Game Awards, didn't it? Wolverine could show up late this year with its 2026 trailer, because wasn't Yotei at the Game Awards? Discord sucks. What kind of website is it? It's very different than what it was a year ago. All right, hang on a second. What's your name in the Discord? Don CK. Are you in my Discord? How long have you been in? I don't see a recent join notification for you. Yo, what's good, feed? I see you in the chat. It was Intergalactic. When did Yotei show up? Yotei was September? Right, yeah. Yotei was not in the summer was my point. I couldn't remember when it showed up. Yeah, it just that it wasn't in the summer was my point. Yotei was later in the year. I think they're going to do the same thing with Wolverine. Wolverine will be at a later State of Play or Gamescom or the Game Awards. It'll be a 2026 trailer. Ghost Trooper 32. All right, hang on 1 second. All right. I see you. You have not synced because you have not been assigned any roles in my Discord. If you have synced, then let me push the integration sync. How do I do that? It was last synced 7 minutes ago, brother. You have to sync your YouTube account with your Discord account. You've got to go into settings, go to integrations, and you got to sync the two. Yeah, you joined 15 minutes before the last server sync, so you're not synced up. What Spanish are you talking? Settings, and then look for something that says integration. It's where is that the word that they use? User settings. Oh, it's called connections. I'm sorry. Go to settings in your Discord and look at connections. You have to connect your Discord and you have to connect your YouTube account. That's what you got to do. Settings, connections. You log into your YouTube, I'll sync the server, you'll get assigned roles, and you'll see all the rooms. South of Midnight official deep dive. Playtime will be roughly 12 hours. That's why the preview only let people play for an hour. It's a shorter game. That's okay. I tend to kind of like shorter games recently. I picked up Final Fantasy 16 again, and I'm like 52% of the way through. I'm like 16 hours in. I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna hit 30 hours on this game. Apparently, people are speculating that Starfield will be at this state of play. Again, I'm just going to reiterate that I don't think that's the case. I don't think this is the place that something like that would get announced. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I'm hearing that a new first-party AAA will be there. I'm also hearing that RE9 will be there with something new. You've been invited to try out communities. We already have it. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, hit that like button. Get us to 400 likes. Thank you. A bunch of you people already hit subscribe, and thank you for doing that as well. Appreciate all of the new ones. Appreciate you. The question that should be is if Sony would ever put Microsoft in their show. Listen, if there is an Xbox published game at the state of play, it'll be Doom the Dark Ages. It'll be Doom the Dark Ages. You can go to PlayStation's, blog about all the games coming this year, and it literally has Doom the Dark Ages on that blog. So I do not think you will say, yeah, let's use our state of play airtime to talk about old games that are getting ported. What about indie? Again, what? Maybe indie, because it's new. Maybe indie. I just don't see it. I could be wrong. PlayStation could see this differently than me. I'm making a prediction about how they view it. If I'm PlayStation and I view it that way, it's like, why would we use our state of play at the beginning of 2025 to talk about games that are already out or that are 3 and 4 years old? Indie sucked. Indie got great reviews. What are you talking about? Indie was very well received. What's the goal of the show? I think the goal of the show, as they stated, is tune in live for news and updates on great games coming to PS5. The show celebrates a creative and unique selection of exciting games from studios around the world. Now, it does say great games coming to PS5. That certainly leaves room for something like Forza. It does. That's a great game coming to PS5. It's not a new game. It's a great game coming to PS5. So their verbiage in their blog post does leave room. It does. I don't know. Beyond that, I my gut says no, but I could be wrong. Was the RE9 comment from a minute ago? Yeah. Detective Seed seems to have some contacts at PlayStation. It was only him and Jeff Grubb that said the state of play date would be tomorrow. Everyone else said Friday. I think people got their wires crossed because one of the insiders said the 13th, and it is the 13th according to their time zone. There's a time zone that is landing in the 13th. Like, look. So right here, the 40-minute show on February the 12th, and then the very last time zone right here is February the 13th. So I think people got their wires crossed. I think people had good intel. I just think they got their wires crossed because of the time zone differences. Indie's a nice little game. The user and the outlet score show that as well. You can say you thought it sucked, that's fine, but to say it's not true. Yeah, I don't think Indie was a bad game. I think it did well. I don't know about commercially. Game Pass always makes that a more difficult equation. All right. Server settings. Did you figure it out, sir? I'm going to force sync the server. and see if you don't get your permissions. No, you did not. I'm trying to help you out, brother. How long have you been around? There's literally an access room. Joker Quinn's now in. Almost 2 years in Discord new. Yeah, Joker Quinn, your coffee came back again. I don't know what the deal is. My wife literally puts your address in her phone and can, like, see your house. I don't understand what's happening. Oh, you're in? Okay. Oh, I see you. I see you, Ghost Trooper. You figured it out. Excellent. Excellent. There you go. Lost Soul Aside will be at the State of Play. I think that that's true. Yes, I think Lost Soul Aside will be there. Yep. Yep. I think Lost Soul Aside will be there. Yote will be there. Death Stranding 2 will probably be there. I think Monster Hunter Wilds will be there. So, here's a question from Cat Uncle. How long do you think Rockstar or Take-Two is going to wait for the GTA 6 trailer 2 or reveal date? At this point, I hate to say this to you. I know nobody wants to hear this. I don't think we get a trailer 2 until they're ready to nail down the release date. And I don't think they're going to nail down the release date until the summer. I think by the summer, they probably have a deadline. And by the summer, it's, are we going forward with marketing? Are we going forward with GTA 6 trailer 2? Do we have our GTA 6 release date? Is the answer to that question yes or no? Are we going forward with this or not? If not, it's a delay. I like when you put the question on the screen. That is something that you can do as a member. If you decide to become a member to this channel, just really make sure you pick Member Plus. You do not want to pick the $5 membership. $5 membership is the gifted tier, which they don't get into everything. For an extra $1, you get into everything. You think it's going to be delayed, Righty? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that it's going to get delayed. The pattern with the company, size of the game, yeah, a lot of people think that. I think the fact that they've specified fall twice instead of just fiscal year, I think they're good. Now here's a prediction from from Pyro. Who is Pyro? I don't feel like I've interacted with Pyro before, but he's got a lot of followers on Twitter. Someone named Pyro White Wolf. Okay. Okay, and it looks like his follower count is actually genuine. I've found people before. I'll give him a follow. I've found people before with high follower counts like this, and then their tweets have like no interaction. His tweets have like high views. Okay, so this is actually a genuine. These are genuine followers. He says his official PlayStation State of Play predictions: Wolverine gameplay, Death Stranding 2 release date, maybe. Ghost of Yote release date, yes, I agree. GTA 6 gameplay and trailer number 2, no. Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet gameplay, maybe. Venom standalone game release date, maybe. That's probably a summer surprise or a late. Yeah, that's probably a summer surprise. If it's real. God of War Remastered Collection, maybe. Last of Us Part 3 trailer, absolutely not. Santa Monica new IP. That could be the one that Detective Seeds is talking about. Santa Monica's, the sci-fi, Cory Barlog's sci-fi game. New God of War Egypt, no shot. Halo coming to PS5, no shot. Gears of War Trilogy announced, maybe. New Mario game day and date for Switch 2. He's frickin' trolling. Bloodborne Remaster. KOTOR Remake release date. Huge update. Concord going free to play. You a troll, Pyro. He got me. He got me, dude. Frick. He had me in the first half. All right, he deserves a reply. He had me in the first half. You had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Got me. I was like, okay. It's pretty ambitious predictions here. Yeah, you know. Just out of curiosity, did you hear about the Discord group? Of course. Of course I did, Brooklyn. I'm fairly confident that I was one of their targets the year that I got all of the heat about my ABK coverage. I am very confident that I was targeted by them. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they were the ones that circulated the image from the one article. The one article about like the false claims about me from 2020, and I got like the coordinated attack. I think they were part of it. 100%. There's probably other Discords that are far worse that also coordinated those attacks. But, yeah. I always had this sixth sense. I always had this feeling that there was a coordination group somewhere that ran with the FUD, that ran with the talking points. I felt it. I felt it in my bones. It's like I've been doing this for 10 years. And I can see through the veil. I know that this is inauthentic. I know this is astroturfing. I know this is like organized. I always felt it. And when I saw the screenshots of that Discord, I was like, yeah, that tracks. It tracks with everything I felt at an instinctive level. That there was some form of that happening. Now, I don't know if there's like, what were they saying? They were doing everything they could to basically push against anything that made PlayStation 5 look good, and they did everything they could to make the Xbox look good. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing behavior. Eugene says, I felt like there has been organized messaging since like 2010. Alex B's in a lot of trouble. I didn't see anything from Alex from Digital Foundry that I found to be damning or indicting. His comments were very, very benign. There's screenshots. There are screenshots, yes. And again, there are people in there that, you know, came across as like professionals, but clearly not the case. And you know, a lot of these guys are paid in access. They get early access and review copies of games, even though they're not even, some of these guys aren't even content creators. And a renewal from Detective Seeds, that's a member plus. Steaks and beer soon. We'll send you dates. I'll be in town. Yes, dude, do it. Oh my gosh. My calendar is now wide open. You had to bump it to Feb, and then I was out of town. So yes, we got to do it. We got to include Ghost in the Garage Gaming if we can. Never forget Xbox astroturfing is why hashtag ad is a law now. Yeah, it's because of Xbox. Yep. And a 10 bomb from Detective Seeds gets us really, really close to the next milestone and sets us on a nice 2-2-2 for the week. Creature says, it also would make me ask why some of those professionals are keeping that company to end up included in that setting. It's always hard to know what the inception point was, Creature, because you go into Discords all the time and, you know, you just kind of stay in there. Like when Alex was in there, we don't know what the inception point was. You know, what was the reason why he went in there? And is he still in there? His contribution to the one conversation was, like I said, it was very benign. There it is, getting this confetti. Still celebrating my Eagles win. Thank you, True SSJ Havoc, for making it rain some confetti on the chat. I will gift a member. I owe you guys a member every 5 super chats. So thank you so much for doing that. If you're going to super chat, wait a minute or two. It doesn't always register right away whenever I do a new one. Okay. They've also updated the purchase flow for memberships. I don't know why, but they have. It's faster and smoother now. If you guys want to give it a test, you know, drop some members on. I'm just kidding. Paul Wright with a VIP, 5 months. Any chance a Heavenly Sword gets a remake? Order 18862 was pitched and denied. Push Square wrote yesterday. Thank you for that VIP. Getting us a little bit closer to the next milestone of 225. We're well on pace for the week. Nice bounce back week, guys. Yo, it's good Nitro Fusion. yeah, I don't know about a Heavenly Sword remake. I think a lot of the remakes and sequels and like pulling up like old games and stuff, you know, what we learned about Resistance 4, I just don't think it's surprising. I don't know about market opportunity for games like that. I don't know enough to comment. But it wasn't surprising when I heard that Resistance 4 was shot down. I was like, yeah, I told you guys. There's just not enough demand for games like that. They wouldn't do well. They wouldn't. You're far better off having your studios make stuff that's new, you know, than like, hey, let's remake an old first-person shooter. Like, it just, there's, and I think a lot of when the guy from Insomniac said the thing about timing and market opportunity, I think what he's referring to is PlayStation internally knows how their audience behaves with respect to Call of Duty, okay? So that's going to affect your market opportunity and the timing of doing something like a Resistance remake or something like that. Do you see? Like, they know the way that their user base behaves with respect to Call of Duty. They also know the way that user base behaves with respect to probably other shooter franchises. Does that make sense? Kojima has announced that PlayStation's having a Death Stranding 2 panel at SXSW 2025 around March 7th. Yeah, that could mean that Death Stranding 2 will be at this event, but not have a release date. It'll just be there to remind people it's being made. And maybe they say, hey, if you want to hear more, Kojima's going to be at this thing on March the 7th in a month. Now, here's some commentary on Monster Hunter Wilds. Producer Ryozo Tsuchimoto, he talked about the possibility of bringing the game to the Switch 2. It was an outright no. Of course, with relation to platforms for Monster Hunter Wilds, we have nothing extra to announce beyond what we've already have said there. We also kind of in the same position as everybody else with the Switch 2. It's such a brand new announcement, and we would need to take time over the coming future to learn exactly the nature of the hardware and how we'll be using it best, and that's something that's going to be in the future. And that's something that's going to be in the future for us. So yeah, Monhun Wilds could come to Switch 2, but they've not touched the hardware yet, so they don't know. Phantom Blade Zero date, trailer said 2025. It did not. I think you're mistaken, Skeeter. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Phantom Blade Zero is slated for 2026. I'm not sure what trailer you're referring to. I don't think there's a trailer. I could be incorrect here. I don't think there's a trailer that says 2025 for Phantom Blade Zero. As far as we know, it's slated and targeting 2026 release date. Monhun will run but even on current platforms, including PC, no shot for a Switch 2. Is a Switch 2 getting exclusives or not? My personal contention has been that Metroid will be cross-platform, Switch 1, Switch 2, and the new Mario Kart will be a Switch 2 exclusive. That has been my prediction. That they're going to do a double, hey, Metroid is cross-platform. I think the new Mario Kart's an exclusive to Switch 2. They're going to want to motivate people to buy. They've got to get people. They've got to get adoption rates to be quick and fast and high, and that's a great way to do it. Not sure about Switch 2. Even base PS5 is not looking too great with that game. Yeah, base PS5 is not looking good, and I'll tell you why. Their upscaler for performance mode is FSR 1. Good frickin' luck. Good frickin' luck. I went back to FF16, and I'm still on the fence about if I should continue or not. I really am. That I really am considering waiting and just praying that they push out some kind of an update for the upscaling or a PS5 Pro. A PS5 Pro update for FF16 would just be oh my gosh. It would be a dream. I'm worried that I'm wasting my time. I should just pump the brakes again and play something else. Yeah, Patrick, FSR 1. So this is going to be, I think this is going to be a divisive game. I'm just going to call it. I'm going to say it. I think Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be a divisive game, and here's why. I think the base version of PS5 Hunter Wilds performance mode is going to be bad. I think the performance mode for Hunter Wilds on the Pro is going to be so markedly better, it's going to be divisive. People are going to feel like they literally bought different versions of the game. You're going to see side-by-side comparisons, and you're going to be like, what the frick is going on? Somebody say my name. Divisive Gaming. I wonder why PlayStation has this on their website when all the other games are first-party and second-party exclusives. Because Doom: The Dark Ages is a big title. It's a good title for them. It's PS5 Pro enhanced, baby. Let's go. Ain't the Pro version 40? No, Brooklyn. No. They have 3 versions for the Pro. Performance, balanced, and resolution. Frame rate, balanced, resolution. The balanced version is 40. It'll turn the ray tracing back on. It'll upscale from 1440, and it'll target 40 FPS. The performance mode on the Pro turns the ray tracing off, upscales from 1080 to 4K, and it's targeting 60, and it's using PSSR. The performance mode on the base PS5 is going to upscale, but it's going to use FSR1 to do the upscaling. FSR1, in my opinion, is a bad upscaler. I don't think it's very good. It looks bad in Final Fantasy 16. It looks ugly. Final Fantasy 16 running with PSSR could be a dream. I mean, look at the difference between FF7 Remake on the PS5 Pro. 40 FPS sounds decent. I mean, if you want the ray tracing, I don't really care about ray tracing in a game like that. Did you see the footage? I tweeted the footage. It's really, really quick. Now, I will readily admit that this footage is quick, but there's an awful lot going on the screen here. You see that? I mean, this it's a Twitter video, so it's kind of crappy. That's a lot going on the screen. It is maintaining fluidity. So I'm here to say it actually looks better. It actually looks better when you don't go full screen. Look, you can see the fluidity better here. Look at that. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be divisive. I think people are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, this game runs like chotch on my base PS5. And then the Pro's going to be sitting there eating good with PSSR, and FSR1's going to be looking like doo-doo. I mean, that's exactly what happened right now with Final Fantasy 16. If they pushed out a PS5 Pro Enhanced for FF16 and they used PSSR, that's exactly what would happen. It would be a night and day difference between the version on Pro and the version on the performance mode. The difference would be stark. What are the options on Series S? Probably only 30 FPS. There's no way. Ain't no way. Skeeter tweeted you a screen cap at the end of the trailer. Did I misunderstand your super chat, Skeeter? Let me make sure I didn't misunderstand you. Phantom Blade 0 date. Trailer said 2025. Yeah. You went a little vague on me. So let's go full screen here. Maybe what you meant was, are we getting a date this year? Okay. The release date will be announced in 2025. So maybe that's what you meant. In that case, yes. They will likely tell us, I would guess maybe in the summer, or maybe second half of the year, release date, and it will be in 2026. Everything I've heard is that it's slated for 2026. So maybe I misunderstood your super chat. Maybe you were just saying, are we getting the release date this year? They said that we were getting it. I thought you were saying it's releasing this year. That's not what the trailer said. Last of Us Season 2 is going to be at SXSW. .40 FPS looks really good with VRR on a 120 screen. I don't know if I've ever tried it, and I'd have to pick the right game. It'd have to be a game I'm really familiar with. Do we know if the base PS5 has access to FSR3? FSR3 games on PS5. Immortals of Avium is one of the first games to use AMD FSR3 on the PS5. It's a technology that improves frame rates and game performance. And I'm pretty sure that when Immortals of Avium pushed out that update, it fixed a lot of things. And that was in the middle of 2024. That was in the middle of last year. Is it South by Southwest? Yeah. It's probably easier to say South by Southwest than SXSW. FSR3 is software. They should be able to use it. It's got to be. They've got to obviously make sure it's compatible with the hardware, which it sounds like it is. Yo, what's good, Lightly? I love it when devs embrace the latest tech. I like it when they embrace the latest tech carefully. There were a couple of devs that were a little reckless with PSSR, but it's in a better place now for sure. It's in a much better place now. I mean, some of those early renditions were a little yikes, but it sounded like the Black Ops 6 guys especially learned some valuable lessons. Your favorite background track is playing right now? I don't really know if I have any favorite tracks from this playlist. I really wish that I could play Time Cop. I wish there's so many great synthwave bands out there. FM 83, Time Cop, or maybe it's FM 84. It might be FM 84, Time Cop, Magic Sword. I really wish those guys would open up their stuff DMCA, and then we could use it. We have a lot more. There'd be a lot more variety. I really miss you playing Magic Sword. The beauty of Magic Sword on Twitch was they whitelisted so you didn't get like muted. But if you brought it over to YouTube, you would. So when I would do Q&A and I would do my videos, I would switch to a different playlist. I would switch to like copyright-free lo-fi. And then when we came over here, they told me that they could whitelist on YouTube, and it's not true. It's not true. They can't. Their record label doesn't allow for it. So anytime I use Magic Sword on YouTube, I get copyright claims. So, volume sounds low. We've had some people say that recently. My microphone's hitting in the red, and my audio's halfway up the volume thing. I don't know why all of a sudden we're getting feedback from people that the volume's too low. I do listen to YouTube videos, and then I listen to mine, and I do feel like I'm quieter. I don't have any control over that. I don't know why. I can only adjust the audio mixer in OBS, and I'm like, if we go any louder, it'll distort. You're quieter than other channels? I know, and I don't understand why. Sounds fine. If you go from my broadcast or, my videos to other videos, my content's quieter, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like other people, do they push the volume beyond what's good? Is the AV1 encoder also encoding the audio? I would assume. I don't know. Ever since we switched to that, I feel like we've gotten more comments about that. I'm normally volume 12, and now I have to be volume 20. That's a really big difference. No Death Stranding 2 trailer at State of Play. Kojima's attending a special panel. You could still have Death Stranding 2 presence at the state of play, and then maybe they promote the panel. I don't know. Your drop-off is more aggressive if you get off the sweet spot on the mic. It's more of what I've noticed. Okay, let me try something. Okay, so that makes the mic hotter. Now, this is what we had to do. This is what we had to do whenever I streamed through the mobile phone. And I switched that recently. So maybe that's what it is. Too loud. Microphone check 1 2. Yeah, it's distorting. Yeah, that was distorting a little bit. Seems like your gate or expander is messing with your voice. I don't know if the noise... No, I'm not even running a noise gate. I am not running a noise gate on this. If I go to filters, I'm not running a compressor. I'm not running a noise gate. Let me check Windows. Hang on. Recording. Yeah, that's supposed to be the default. Properties. Levels. 60. Advanced. Allow applications to take exclusive control. No. That might have been what it was. I was allowing Windows, like, applications to take control, and I'm wondering... You sound really good without all those add-ons. I run everything through a cloud lifter and an analog mixer. That's what I do. So I don't mind the microphone being more like hot. So like if I move away, if I'm like back here, it should be picking up more of my voice. I think that's probably a good thing, but you replace an entire computer, there has to be a checkbox somewhere that didn't carry over, par for the course for new hardware. Sure. It's very possible. Advanced audio properties. I don't think I was doing any volume boost at all to my mic on the old one. I don't think I did mono either. I don't know if going mono helps. You have settings on the mixer or just an EQ? Yeah, I've got an EQ and some gain. I don't like pushing the gain higher than it is because that's when you get distortion. Yeah. Lono goes mono. Yeah, I don't know if mono helps boost it or not. I just switched it to mono. I don't know if that has any effect. I thought it was a little quiet even before the replacement. No, yeah, even before the replacement. I felt like my content was quieter than other channels. Like I would listen to like an Asmongold video or like a Critical Drinker video, and then I would play mine. I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit quieter. I don't know. Do you have a preamp? Yeah. My microphone goes through a cloud lifter, and then it goes into an analog mixer. It comes out of the analog mixer into a Focusrite preamp, and then the preamp is basically the sound card. It converts the sound into a digital signal that then goes to the computer. Everyone says you need all that other stuff, but you sound good without it. If you set things up properly, then you don't need all that you don't need all those post effects. You should not need any of that. You shouldn't. Like, I can even push it a little bit more. See, that gets distorted. That gets distorted. I can push it a little bit more on the preamp, but I start to hear distortion when I do that. I like it to be nice and clean. Spilling the Reforge Audio T. That's right. That's right. I think there are audio settings that you can change. We're running at the sample rate of 48 kilohertz. The channels are stereo. And then this is all just hotkeys. Yeah, it says low latency audio buffering mode. That's for deck link and NDI outputs. I don't think I need that. Yeah, ID at Xbox has some spicy announcements. They're doing a big thing on like the 24th or whatever. Lono getting a PhD in audio while Elon streams from a tin can connected with a string. Mono helps avoid when you talk to the left or the right of the mic and it's outputting on the corresponding speaker of the earbud. I hear you just fine on my end. I know that you got to turn the volume up a little bit when you watch my broadcasts, and I've never known why. I've never really known why that is the case. I have everything hitting. This is what my audio always looked like when I streamed on Twitch, and I never got complaints over there. But when I come to YouTube, I seem quieter than everybody else, and I don't exactly know why. For the record, Lono has an unhealthy obsession with audio quality. We just kind of go with it. Everybody needs a hobby. Yes, I do. I think my bass is boosted on my TV compared to my phone. My voice is a little bassy because of the mixer. I don't have a super low voice, but I have a lower voice. Google is trying to silence you, literally. There's no big problem with having to raise the volume. Yeah, you just got to remember if you go to watch something else. All right, this is the last question in the queue, and it's from Mick-D09. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Death Stranding 2? Can you see yourself rolling credits on it? It's a real challenge with games like that because my window of time to play games is just so short that it's really, really hard to enjoy a game that's going to take me months to beat, if that makes sense. I don't know. If I can take chunks out of a game and my wife is enjoying watching me play the game, then I think it could work. But again, the difficulty there, I think the difficulty again is it's hard to enjoy a game that I'm just taking teeny chiseled chunks out of. I'm enjoying rolling credits on smaller games lately is where I've kind of landed. I think you should start Days Gone, incredible game and experience. I'm kind of waiting to see if the rumors about a Days Gone remaster are true. You know, I kind of am wanting, if I was to go back to that game, that would be like the perfect way to do it, like a PS5 Pro enhanced remaster or something. Lono has to be lower than the other channels, otherwise he can't hear the strategic placed mics he put at Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. That's right. I rolled credits on Rise of the Ronin, and I liked it a lot. I did not like how things went near the end of the game. Some of the fights got a little weird. You basically spend the entire time Jez Corden and Nate the Hater indicating that we're going to get a Hellblade 2 announcement very, very soon. They're replying to Pyro's State of Play predictions. Jez says Hellblade 2 time maybe, and Nate the Hate says soon, very soon. That, I'm telling you, that'll be a real interesting development. Yeah, I played Rise of the Ronin on PS5 when it released, and I really liked it. You spend the entire time getting really good with your stances and your weapons, and then at the end, there were a bunch of fights that, like, you feel like you're fighting Iron Man. Like, literally flying around the room, lighting the ground on fire, shooting projectiles, Iron Man. I'm not kidding you. That's what some of the fights turn into. I did not appreciate that. I did not like that. I did not think that was a good crescendo of their combat system. Their combat system is really enjoyable and really fun. I thought that was a poor crescendo and climax for their combat system. You get different weapons. You get different stances. You assess the battlefield. You decide, okay, I'm going to attack this guy first, this guy second, right? Because when you change your stances down in the corner, it'll show you if your stance has a blue arrow or a red arrow. Blue arrow meaning your stance is strong against them or weak against them, right? So you're like changing on the fly. I did not like how at the end, all of a sudden, that I feel like they threw that out the window. You didn't finish Death Stranding. I need to go back to it. It's in the backlog. Are you looking forward to First Berserk Kazan? I really liked the beta when I played it. I haven't gone back to the demo to see if it feels or runs any better on the Pro. That could be worth my time while we wait on like Avowed, because I didn't know if they made any changes or any updates or anything. So yeah, I liked it though. I liked the beta when I played quite a bit. I like Rise, but does anyone else feel like the skill tree and the stance tree is too convoluted? I don't remember feeling that. Is the combat similar to Sekiro? Corey says no. I actually think it's similar to Sekiro. I don't agree with Corey. I think Rise of the Ronin is like a blend of Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro, is what it feels like to me. The emphasis on parries really feels like reminiscent of Sekiro's combat. You couldn't stand Death Stranding 1, you're completely out on Death Stranding 2. Yeah, it's a good middle ground. Like, it doesn't feel as punishing as Sekiro, but it doesn't feel as easy as Tsushima. Tsushima can get pretty hard in the duels, but overall, Tsushima's combat became very approachable and very fun, which is why I've always been curious about playing Tsushima on Lethal, just to see how it feels. It's similar to Neo, but there's more of an emphasis on parries. Yeah, I never played the Neo games. You think they're going to fix all the complaints about Death Stranding 1? What complaints are you referring to, and why would you think that they're going to make changes? Like, I don't know what the primary complaints were. Unity cuts their entire behavior development team as part of new layoffs. How many people is that? Yeah, they're not saying. It just employees have announced that their teams have been eliminated. In 2024, they let go of roughly 1,800 people. A question from Stonespire. The Yakuza Pirate game and Monster Hunter Wilds are coming up soon. Which one would you rather play for us? Probably Monhun Wilds, just to see if I could finally get into gear with a Monhun game. It looks really cool. You know? It looks really cool. It looks like it could be fun. Oh, Oh, Nate the Hate has qualified and said, he says, for clarity, I do not know if the game will be at the state of play. This is not a tease implying that it will be. Okay. He's just saying that it's coming soon, but not necessarily at the state of play. I again think that Xbox games at the state of play would be new games, not old games that are porting over. Could we get 20 more likes on the video? Let's get to 400 likes. That'd be amazing. We've had a nice day. Really on pace with the members. Continuing to have a nice pace with the members. You guys that gift and renew, thank you for doing that. Keeping the engine going, as it were. We should add a little. Hang on a second. Let's do this. Valentine Hearts PNG. We'll do a Valentine's Day stream for you guys this Friday night, me and Madam. I don't know what the theme should be. I was going to be playing some Avowed for you guys. I have to play it in 30 FPS, apparently. And let's go ahead and get that going. Get that up on the screen for you. There you go. There we go. Little Friday night Valentine's Day stream for y'all, especially all y'all singles out there. Just got to hit that goal. We'll be doing Avowed. Apparently, I'm supposed to play it at 30 FPS. That'll be fun as well. This guy says, icon era, and you ask yourself why people make fun of you and your retarded statements. LOL. Sad. Well, what's sad is you. Pathetic boy energy. Like, did you even see the screenshots? Like, what do you mean, icon era? Icon era is just a forum. It's just a forum where people can post. That's all it is. It's not a news site. These pathetic little boys out here. You know what I mean? You got little boy energy, bro. Spending my Valentine's Day in Bohemia. There you go. There you go. Yo, what's good, John Lepkowski? How are you? Have you tried FF16 on a new PC? I run at 100 FPS and 84K. No FSR. It's quite nice. No, I'm not going to play games on this PC. That's not what I got it for, and I don't feel like starting over in Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. GTA 6 publishers not worried about the game influencing violence in the real world. Zelnick says, to be clear, entertainment does not create behavior. Entertainment reflects behavior. I told you guys they were viewing this game as more of a reflection of society. The notion that entertainment creates behavior has been tested and disproved over and over again, he says. He discussed TV shows and movies with very realistic violence, and it doesn't influence wrong behavior. He's not worried about photorealistic video games including such behavior. Yeah, I think that's well stated. Marathon is rumored to be at tomorrow's State of Play. First rumor is out. Marathon will be shown at the State of Play. This info comes from Insider Visceral and the owner of Destiny Bulletin. The new trailer will likely include a release date. Remember, Marathon is an extraction shooter set in a sci-fi world by Bungie and Sony. Rumor has it the game will cost $40 and will release this year. Yeah, and it's going to flop. Market. The game's going to flop. They're setting up entire chasms and hurdles between a flourishing user base in that game. $40, and you got the game director telling people it's intense and competitive and not for everyone. Oh, wow, it's going to be a really popular game then. I agree with Zelnick's take. Games don't create violent behavior, but society always wants to point fingers at things like video games and movies. I studied this extensively in film school. Yeah, I mean, what goes into a man cannot defile him. It's what comes out of him that defiles him. Like, let the hearer understand. I don't. It's such a backwards. Like, as far as like just basic anthropology view and study or philosophy of man or humankind, it's just so backwards. It doesn't grapple with the reality of human behavior and human existence. It's like it's just a superficial scapegoat. Well, somebody did something bad, and they find some correlative thing that they want to create causality from. Lono, I secretly want you to be wrong about Marathon, but my rational brain says you're probably right. I do not understand how a $40 extraction shooter that's not for everybody, like, how is that going to succeed as a live service game? What are you guys debating in the Discord? Oh, you guys are debating the Superman thing. Extraction shooters an instant no for me. What about the Gummy Bears game? I thought Gummy Bears got canceled. It's Bungie, they know live service. Do they? Do they? I mean, they do, but do they? They had all those incubation projects that they spun up, put the company in the red, and then they canceled all of them. Or they've had to hand at least 2 of them off to other studios. I don't know. I don't know. They know live service. Business in general, however, is a struggle. I think they understand live service. That doesn't mean that they understand market demand. Right? Think of it this way. Plenty of game companies have an ample amount of data. Okay. Plenty of games right now. Companies, developers, publishers, they have ample amount of data on live service. And yet, they keep bringing games to market that are like, they're out of time. It's like, what is this? You know, Kill the Justice League felt like a Fortnite limited time mode. Okay? It didn't feel contextualized at all for 2024. Same could be said for Concord. Concord felt completely out of time. Right? I think Marathon is the same thing. I think there's this gold rush. There's now this sudden gold rush about, well, we're going to do extraction shooters. And I think they're going to find the same thing. I think they're going to find them low in demand. I don't think it's a high in demand offer. And on top of that, they've said it's not for everybody, and they're going to charge $40 for it. You're setting it up to fail. I mean, you're just, from moment one, that game is set up to fail. Yeah, I think Fair Games is cooked for the same dadgum reason. There isn't a market demand for it, and then there's going to be a $40 price point on it. You are quite literally creating an equation that cannot be resolved and solved. It won't work. I think it's a broken equation from moment one to pick a more fringe game type, game genre, game design, and then you're going to put a $40 price ticket on it. All right. In a day and age, track with me. In a day and age where the breakout, the successful, the big funnel games have to do everything to make their games accessible to casuals, and they have to make them free. You're breaking both of those rules. Fortnite, Warzone, all these games have to do everything they can with skill-based matchmaking and putting bots in games to make their game funnel have any sustainability. They have to basically make sure that the casuals have a safe haven and a place to play, and they're free. And you're breaking both of those rules. You're like, oh, well, we're going to make the game inaccessible to casuals. It's going to be competitive. Oh, and we're going to put a price point on it. Oh, well, you're breaking the two pillars of how to have a successful live service game. You know? Why did Helldivers break out the way that it did? Why? Well, it was fun. It wasn't competitive. It was casual. That allowed them to break the price point rule. It was also PvE. I think people mentally have a different expectation about a PvE co-op game versus a PvP game. As soon as you're playing a PvP game and it's a live service game, I think the expectation is different. I think Helldivers got to break one of the rules because they didn't break the main rule, which was make the game fun and accessible to lots of people. Make it easy, make it fun. Now, you can obviously take it up and make it really, really hard if you want to. I don't think competitive heist game, I don't think competitive extraction shooter, I don't think either of those are a recipe for, oh yeah, this is super accessible to the average player, to a more casual player. No, you just shrunk your market reach, and then you're also going to charge money for it. So, what the heck is that emote? Oh, those are hands. I thought that was a nutsack. I was like, what the frick? Who approved that? Helldivers 2 also had a great, concise elevator pitch to consumers. Co-op Starship Troopers. Exactly. It was a very simple value prop. Extremely simple value proposition. Yeah, the Hellblade thing's making the rounds. Nutsack. It looks like Nutsack. What the hell even is Marathon? It's a sci-fi extraction shooter. Game director said it's going to be intense. A lot of high risk. A lot of high risk. And he said because of that, it's not for everybody. Which is true. Extraction shooters are not for everybody. They're not. Yeah, from far away, it's blurry. And totally looks like sack. You know what I mean? It's because when you use the darker skin tone, the lines, the color that they use for the fingers is it's not high contrast, so it blends in. If you do that with yellow, the yellow cartoonish or the white hands, the outlines are going to stand out more. The outlines blend in. I will use this power liberally. That's right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes. If you guys want to extend the stream, you got 20 minutes to hit 250. All right? And we'll keep going. A lot of times when we extend the stream, we turn it into a members-only AMA where you can submit questions that are off topic and that are not about gaming. I'll clear the question queue. So you only need 22 members in 20 minutes. I believe that you guys can do that easy. Get us a little bit of a head start on the week. And the question queue is ready. So you got 20 minutes. 20 minutes, and we'll go to green room if we don't extend. That's totally fine if we don't extend. I like to give you guys the opportunity to influence the length. Jez says not if, when. And when is pretty soon. Jez is hearing that that Hellblade 2 is coming to PlayStation very soon. I think I did the wrong ones. Now this looks like white sacks. That totally looks like a nutsack to me. Totally looks like a nutsack to me. All right, let me throw this into the live. PlayStation is saving the news cycle. We're finally getting some stuff. Finally getting some heat. Mine looks like Homer's nutsack. It's yellow. Yeah, it does. All right, 18 minutes. We are 2 members away from 225, where I would owe you guys some more. So, if you've got a renewal, double check. Hit the $sign at the bottom of the chat. You may be able to bump the line with just a renewal. Ecstasis is now saying it's reported and confirmed by Nate. They hate that Hellblade 2 is very close to PS5. Could even be presented tomorrow. State of play. I think the game needs it and will work pretty well there. I think it would do well given the first game's performance. What was that? Last night was a different color sheet for the handwritten. And if you guys are using it now, we have a community tab on mobile. It's called Posts. It's called Posts on the browser, but you can't see community posts on browser. Oh, here, let me update the... And we also have been doing polls. If you ever see my polls on the channel, you can take those. It's really helpful when you do. More engagement, chatting, and commenting and voting. And then I usually leave a post, a pinned comment, I should say, to the most recent stream. So thank you to everybody who's been doing that. Taking those polls, voting, and commenting. We'll have to take your poll. Gross. Sony could really bring some heat if they secure a trailer 2 for GTA 6 as part of the rumored exclusive marketing deal. Again, just hopes. I've been hearing whispers that the marketing deal is legitimate. I'm hearing some whispers and some murmurings, through back channels that it is the marketing deal is legitimate, but it's not going to be at the state of play. And that's what I think. If there is any kind of a deal there, I feel like the state of play is too early for it. GTA 6 trailer 2, GTA 6 release date. I just don't see it because it just feels too early. If they know the release date, they would have announced it before the earnings call. I don't think you do an earnings call and then like a week later let PlayStation announce the release date. That seems kind of weird. We got to have hope. I mean, I know everybody's hopeful about GTA 6. I know. I get it. It doesn't line up. If you're going to go into the Take-Two earnings call and you want to give them assurances that the game's coming and you want your stock value, you want your share value to go up, then the release date would have been out before that earnings call or day of the earnings call. That would just be my prediction. State of plays are always pre-recorded. Yes, typically yes. They're all pre-recorded. It's not a live event. It'll be a premiered recorded video. Take-Two for not letting the game come to PC. It is going to come to PC. According to Strauss Zelnick, I even predicted at the beginning of this stream that I think the GTA 6 PC release date, I think it's going to be earlier than in the past. I think it's going to be earlier than in the past, personally. The way he talked about like how things are going and how they're trending and looking at the PC market, I think it's going to come a lot faster this time. All right, we need 6 more likes. We need 6 more likes, guys, for 400. If you guys want to extend the stream, you have 13 minutes to do it. I'm just kind of checking the news feeds right now, kind of priming the pump for the green room. If you want to come to us, if you want to come with us to the green room, that's happening in 13 minutes. You can always extend the stream if we hit the next milestone of 250 members. Why is Rockstar not releasing on PC same time as the console? It's what they've always done. They, in an interview, he basically said, it's what we've always done. It's how we've always done it. We prioritize console first, come to PC later. PC doesn't make up the largest portion of their retail sales because of this. Even with how many different times they've sold GTA 5 over the years, retail sales are significantly higher for them on console. The online portion, though, and the live service portion, I think revenue is probably very strong for them on PC. And again, Strauss Zelnick seems to indicate that they see greater opportunity for growth and money on PC this time around. So I think it'll come to PC quicker this time around. And I've talked about this a lot. I think it's better for development. I think developing for I think it's better for development when you have that small scope. You build for the consoles, they're closed ecosystems. Yeah. I think that helps the development of the games. Copium, where's the Copium? What are you talking about? Here's the question you have to ask. Why would one of the biggest publishers and one of the biggest pieces of property do that if it's such a bad idea? It's weird. They're the bigger community. Right. So ask the question. Do you think that Take-Two is stupid? Do you think that they don't know how to maximize profit, which then in turn affects share value and return for their shareholders? They have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders. They answer to them. Do you think what they're doing is dumb? Like, the big narrative that's been circulating on Twitter and amongst all these they know better talking heads is that multi-plat releases make more money. Well, if that's true, then the biggest game and one of the biggest publishers is making an incredibly dumb decision. Apparently people on Twitter and people with YouTube channels know better than them. They know better than Nintendo. They know better than PlayStation. Like, that's the question you have to ask. Aren't these companies purely motivated by maximizing profit, by maximizing market share, by maximizing, making as much money as they possibly can? Then why would they do something that's so dumb and such a bad idea? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Could even be a marketing strategy to release the game on PC later. I don't know what you mean by marketing strategy. A staggered release. How is that a marketing strategy? Isn't the game made on PCs? No, I mean it is, and that's a fundamental misunderstanding of development. So when they're developing on a dev kit, it basically is a PC that is, you're using the PC to develop for the PlayStation 5. Does that make sense? Like, you're not building the game for PC. If it was that simple, then you wouldn't need companies to port. Like, you literally have a company called Nixxes. PlayStation buys Nixxes. Nixxes ports games to PC. If every game that Insomniac and Santa Monica and Guerrilla are making, if they're making it on PCs, why can't they just slide that over and play it on a PC? Because that's not how the games are developed. You need a company to port it to PC. That's what Nixxes specializes in. You don't know how games are made? Yeah, I'm explaining it to you. I'm not being dismissive. I'm saying, yeah, this is how they're made. Like, they make the game on a PC, but they're doing it in a dev kit environment, meaning everything they're interacting with is a piece of PlayStation, hardware, essentially, or Xbox hardware. Street Shadow says, I can explain how games are made. I work in game dev and publishers world. There you go. Guys, you got 8 minutes to extend. We haven't extended in a while, and that is okay with me. I like going to the green room. It's fun. If you want to come with us to the green room here in a minute, you gotta be on Member Plus or VIP. It's $6 to get on Member Plus, and you get into all of the extra content. We need 2 more members to hit 225, so if you've got a renewal, celebrate it. Member Pluses and VIPs count towards that. I think I'm a little behind on the stream. Didn't mean that to sound offensive. No, you're fine. You were obviously banned in my channel before, though. Your account's a day old. Digital Dude says, why are you calling me MBG? You're in the wrong stream, buddy. I'm not MBG. Even if you don't get a remastered, we're still getting another God of War game at some point. It's not like they're forgetting about the franchise. I think you're in the wrong stream. Street Shadow says the game is built and pushed to the dev kit using the SDK that's coded on the PC. Example, build my code on my PC and then I push it to my dev kit to test. There you go. Done that before. Digital Good, brother, you good? Yeah. Digital Dude's he's talking to MBG in my chat. Is MBG streaming right now? Or is he watching a past broadcast or something? Yeah, he is. He's live right now. He's been live for 84 minutes. MBG, the last state of play ended with a remaster of a new game. Might happen again. Oh man, it's got the wrong. He probably popped the chat out. He popped the chat out, bros. Serena Williams shares new footage of her experience building up to performing at Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. She said it was the best 10 seconds of my life. Yeah, we all liked it too. Maybe Lono is actually streaming on MBG's channel. Why isn't anyone asking the real questions? Listen to me, MBG. Respond to me. Yeah, he's like, why won't he respond to me? Wow, I can't get an answer. My bad, Lono. You're good. You're good, bro. I just assumed you popped out my chat and you just forgot that you had popped it out. That was my assumption. Aventi available on Steam right now. Has anyone played this? What is it? Oh, it's like a scary Egyptian like puzzle solving game. A photographer enters the Great Pyramids to photograph Pharaoh Rudamon's remains, but is soon overwhelmed by a sinister curse. It's $6.99 on Steam, 79%. It's been out for a month. It's from Dark Phobia Games. All right, you guys have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You were typing on your phone while watching on your TV. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. You were typing on your phone, watching on the TV. Got it. It's okay. It's a nice short game. Yeah, it's got a decent score. Not an amazing score, but a decent score. All right, 3 minutes. I'm going to set up the green room now, unless anybody's going to try and come in here and buzzer beat us to 250 members. We need 22 more members. I'm sorry. Yeah, 22 more members. No, 27 members. Golly goodness, I can't count. 27 members. I was arguing with someone in our chat about the PSN outage sucked, but people act like this is frequent. I asked ChatGPT, 2024 outages. Sony had 1, Steam had 1, Xbox had 4. I mean, there you go. Pretty simple. All right, I'm going to set up redirect. All right, I'm going to take a quick break now instead of during green room. If you guys go crazy while I'm gone, we'll extend. If not, no big deal. So you have that amount of time before I come back down. I'm going to hit some ads. I'll be right back. And that way we don't have to take a break once we're in green room, okay? I'll be right back. If you guys want to come with us to the green room, use this time to upgrade to Member Plus. It's $6. Or sign up brand new. Help us hit that big goal, all right? I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me give you guys a link. No, you haven't missed anything. Just discussing, looking at the news feeds and all of that. All right, there's the link to the green room. Hey, thanks so much for being a Member Plus or a VIP. Those of you that continue to support the channel directly, or if you've recently upgraded, thank you so much for doing that. We're still in like the 560s, 570s. We need about 30 people to upgrade to hit that new milestone. We'll do a big IRL celebration as well. So if you're watching the tail end of the last broadcast, consider upgrading or signing up brand new. If you watch on a regular basis, supporting the channel directly, $6 a month gets you into double the content for the entire month, as well as the Discord. Make sure and smash like on your way out. I'm going to end that stream and redirect folks over. And then I'm going to change that thumbnail